Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California. Hey everyone, this is Liza. Yep, just me. You were expecting others maybe? Well, I happen to be out of town, so this is one of the opportunities where I get to go back through our extensive backlog of guests and pull out some of my favorites. So we're going to be doing some of that in the near future as I'm traveling. And this one is in honor of our good friend Jocelin Snow, who recently got married. Congratulations to Jocelin and Jason. What a great couple. I'm looking forward to seeing what you two can do together. So Jocelin and I go way back from when I first moved to Santa Cruz over 20 years ago. And we have a long history of seeing each other's careers grow. She was already hot shit when I came to town, but yeah, she's done so much since then. So we've had her on a few times. And the first time we brought her on was when she had qualified the first round of the GS Trophy. And it was something we had not heard of before. So she came on the show to tell us about that, what it was like, what things they had them do to do the qualifying for the first round. She then had to go on to qualify a second round before she could make it onto the team. But this interview was the first time she did the first qualifying, told us all about not just the GS Trophy, but her history of riding. It's a great interview, learning about what makes a great rider. Somebody like Jocelin Snow, who's such an inspiration to everyone. So give that a listen and enjoy. And there's 2 parts to this. Yeah, this is a long show because I thought it was worth it. I'll introduce the second part and you'll see where that's going to go. All right, enjoy. So I wanted to introduce Jocelin, who's here with us. Jocelin, we go way back. I knew you back when I first moved here. That was like, I want to say I've been here like 14 years now. You were a real figure in the motorcycle community, and we had a lot of mutual friends. And you have quite a history of riding, and you've been doing some pretty cool stuff lately. But I wanted to go back and just cover, because you are a badass chick, and this is a badass chick-isode. We're here with Jocelin Snow, badass chick.
We get the baddest chicks,
I'm glad you clarified the history being riding history, because there's a lot of bad history too. Well, we're just going to talk about the riding history
exactly
today.
So you've got a lot of different types of riding in your history, but let's just go way back and see how you got into all of this. What was the first bike you got, and how old were you when you started riding?
Geez, I think I was about 9 years old, and I was just a kid. Didn't really like motorcycles, so I thought motorcycles and guns are scary, right? Not anymore. And I don't know, I think some guy showed up on a Goldwing to visit my folks, and my mother was like, "You want to go for a ride?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, whatever," and jumped on, and that's it. So
game over. Yeah.
I had a paper route. Back then we had to work when we were kids to pay for our school clothes, so I had this little paper route. And I started paying this kid at school $10 a week for like a year. And somehow I bought his little KDX 80 dirt bike. And he told me when I had it paid off, and I was like, well, shoot, I don't know how to ride. So, and I didn't want my folks to know, I was like the principal's daughter, and my mother, my mother was like the head nurse at the hospital. Oh, wow. So I was like,
you're a secret hooligan.
Oh, yeah. Well, not anymore. Thanks for that. I just got outed. So anyway, so I took the school bus to his house, and he gave me a 20-minute lesson on how to let the clutch out and ride around. The following day was a Saturday, and his folks dropped the bike off at the end of the driveway, popped it on a milk crate, and took off. So I kind of waited until I heard my mother holler out, "Ow, my God, it's fluorescent green. I think she sounded like that too. So then I knew I was good, but most of the time the bike's been chained to the floor in the garage. Because maybe I misbehaved and made some bad decisions,
My parents used to do that too.
But they would chain Liza.
Yeah. And there was nowhere to ride. I mean, and I was in Maine, right? This is a little tiny town. And so we could ride on everybody else's property and cross all your neighbors, and we'd go up to the church parking lot and do wheelies and ride down to the sand pit, and then the railroad tracks where they took out all the railroads. We'd ride the railroad tracks.
That sounds super fun.
It was pretty fun, and then you'd have to outrun the police because you want to ride the bike home. You don't want to push it. I lived on the top of a hill, and so you have to ride the bike up the top of the hill faster than the police would, and put it in the garage and pretend like there's other girls that have green dirt bikes.
So Susie down the street, I hate her.
No, that girl.
Tearing it up. But I'm trying to read here at home.
Yeah.
That's where it all started. Traded that thing in for a Honda Spree scooter because I wanted my freedom. Like back then, you didn't have to have a driver's license to have one of those, so I could drive all over the street without getting in trouble. And then right straight from that to a Ninja 750. Whoop, whoop.
Nice.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a big jump.
It was. It was.
How old were you when you got that Ninja 750?
So I had barely had a driver's license, I think, for like a week.
Yeah.
If that. And I think I was like 15.
Oh,
when we
shit.
got one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you should have seen the salesman face. He didn't think it was awesome. He was like, look at me, little girl. You sure you want to do this? And I was like, just keep holding the bike until I can get it going.
Oh, my God.
So, you took your money, so it's like, what else are you going to do? Right?
Yeah, right. That's all they wanted anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah.
Wait, were you even 5 foot tall when you were 15?
I don't think I've ever been 5 foot tall. No, I don't think I was. I think I've been about the same. I'm 5'1" now, 5'1 and a quarter maybe if I stand tall. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to point out. I mean, that's another thing that makes you a badass chick. Like, even though you're small in size, you don't seem small in person because you have no fear of a big bike.
Well, yeah, thanks. I really don't. And everybody tries to tell me you should just ride a little bike, ride a smaller bike, and but I don't know if it's really talent. The reason why I can ride the bike is because I can't touch the ground.
You have to keep going.
It's like I don't put my feet down. I just can't. So I have to balance and I have to make it through. And it's been kind of one of those things, but. It works out.
All right, so you went to a Ninja 750. How did that work out for you? Did you have any crashes or
no?
Mastered it?
I was about to say I never crashed on the street, but I just had this flashback that came to me. It was that day I got brand new tires at the dealership, and no one told me about the mode release compound, right? Yeah. So I'm pulling out of the dealership, and of course now this is Maine. I was at the time I think the only female in the state riding motorcycles. This was a long time ago. I could go on a toy run with 1,000 people, and I would be the only female. Yeah. So I'm coming out of this dealership, and everybody's looking, and these guys pull out of the dealership in I don't know what was, some sort of fast car. It was a Mustang of some sort, and they're going brum brum brum, and I'm like, okay, brum brum, and totally forgot I just had 2 brand new tires, and so I just opened up that throttle, and then that bike slid, and then it caught and high-sided right in front of the delership.
That sucks.
But knock on wood, that is in 37 years of riding. Wow, can we scratch that? Anyway.
Yeah, you get a freebie.
Yeah, that's it. No crashing on the street.
Good for you.
Lucky me.
Yeah.
Huh?
So how many of those Ninjas did you go through?
I had 3 Ninja 750s. Right after I got it, I started doing some track days and went after a road racing license with a CCS is what we called it out there.
This is after you moved from Maine?
Nope, still in Maine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't move to California until 2000.
Yeah, so you were still like this rare bird who, like a chick who did motorcycle track days.
Yeah, they were
Let alone chick that rode motorcycle,
exactly.
right?
They were like, well, we don't have a women's class, so get on board, lady.
Totally. Wow.
It was good. Cool. Yeah, so I did a little bit of that, and about a year after that, started racing a little more seriously. And then decided, well, the Ninja 750 is kind of a big bike on some of these tracks. And so I went ahead and got a TZ250.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
the two-stroke.
Yeah,
So I'm going to
yeah.
smell that, like, Castrol. Right? That's still my favorite perfume. I know. I'm surprised you don't have, like, an incense burning in here.
I do have one in the house.
Okay,
Got a
all right.
two-stroke candle.
I was like, come on.
Two-stroke scented candle.
Yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff.
I know. So you're still riding on the street and you were doing the track? Or did you find being on the track was getting you off the street?
You know, being on the track was really amazing because I used to always go to all the races and watch Scott Russell, right? And he was the man. And just sitting in the stands with my fingers in the fence, that chicken wire fence, that they don't like, just smelling the bikes when they went by. And I didn't think that it was ever anything I could do myself. Just seemed so, I don't know, so surreal, unreachable, you know. And so when I got my racing license and I was out there, it was just incredible.
Well, surely you had a boyfriend or something helped get you into racing, right?
No, not at the time, actually.
What?
I think I may have intimidated them a bit. So, matter of fact, I didn't make very many boyfriends. They were like, God damn it, I got beat by a girl. You're cheating because you weigh less, and every 7 pounds is a horsepower.
You can eat less, bro.
You're like a jockey.
Yeah, I was like, I guess it's cheating.
Did you ever just like look at him in the face and go, "Stop being a bitch"? Just stop it.
I go, who's acting like a girl here? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were doing road racing and you had some crashes there?
Yes, I did. I did a little road racing, had some crashes. Started racing down at Daytona, doing the circuit.
You were really traveling.
Having a good time. Yeah, and then I was in a race. My motor seized, and it was at the end of the front straightaway at Daytona, which I think those bikes will get going about 160 miles an hour.
Two strokes do that, don't they?
Well, so you're coming into turn. It's very sharp left, and I'm trying to I can't put my hand up because I need the clutch, so I'm putting my foot out, and it didn't quite work. And a guy came around the corner, and we hit. I think it was on the back page, 2-page spread of Road Racing World, wasn't it? We were in the air, and I think you could roll a bowling ball underneath us. Oh. My boot flew off. I got
What? That's amazing.
What?
Oh, it was pretty cool. Wow.
You're not dead? Good Lord.
That's a big hit. Broke neck, back, 6 ribs.
Oh, damn, son.
Right ankle. Some random stuff. I don't know. Just stuff.
Wait, how many metal bits do you have in your body right now?
Currently?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay, she's lost count.
I'm not sure.
I think that's another qualification to be a badass chick. You've lost track of the metal bits in your body.
Yeah, definitely.
So how did you fare after that?
Yeah, so, I was in a wheelchair, got back to Maine, was trying to run a sign company there.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
You were in a wheelchair, and you were telling us earlier that you had lost some function of your left hand.
Yeah.
Because of the severity of the injury. Yeah.
So my left arm, actually.
Left arm,
you listen well, don't you?
Oh, that's interesting shit, man.
My left arm, I had damaged all the nerves near brachial plexus. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
But so I couldn't use my left arm at all. So I'm in a wheelchair that I can only just fucking spin circles. Right?
You can wheelie then.
It was pretty pathetic.
Wow.
And I go to the doctor, and he's just like, "Yeah, you're never gonna ride motorcycles again." And I never want to hear those words ever in my life.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
My heart sank. I mean, if I can't ride motorcycles, what do I do? I don't even know what to do. So that was tough, but I didn't want to take it. I didn't want to believe it. And I had a really cool group of friends and supporters, especially, back then, racing, everybody gets involved with the girl, right?
Yeah.
So I had people coming out of the woodwork offering the Nike magnets and the Reiki and the meditation. I don't know. If you name it, I tried it.
Yeah.
And,
Cool.
And I didn't give up. And suddenly the arm started moving a little bit. And when it got so that I could get a full rotation, I made sure to drive but I rode actually by the doctor's office and just put my arm straight up in the air with a big old, "You're number one." Fuck you.
So, like, how long did that take? Like, to once you got the feeling to maximum use of your arm? Like,
Oh gosh, to get the full, I don't even have full grip on my hand, but to get the full movement on my arm was actually years. It was a couple, 3 years, but to get it so I can put it on the handlebars, 6 to 8 months.
it'll sort itself
Little
out.
setback.
Part of the PT, right?
Yeah. Yeah, don't always listen to a doctor. Nobody really knows your body except yourself, and
There you go.
Yep.
Well, and since we're talking about body ailments, you also have an interesting looking finger.
Yeah, and I'm not
Explain
flipping her
this.
off, anybody. So yeah, this left pinky has a little curve. It's a good nose picker. It's like a little raptor
Yeah, I'd like to
claw.
describe. So yeah, her left pinky
There it
is perpetually
It's like 90
at a
degrees almost.
90-degree angle.
45.
So that was Willow Springs, and lo and behold, there was another lady who started racing. So we were racing together in the men's class, and you can imagine the two women would get some serious competition going on.
Yeah.
So we were, and she was on a 600, and I was on the 250 TZ, and we were just, she would take me on the straightaway, I'd take her on the corner, she'd take me on the straightaway, I'd take her on the corner, and then
That's
she,
annoying.
yeah, I was like, hey,
That's
this
so
is
annoying.
getting old.
Yeah.
She came in real tight on the corner, and we bumped, which was on my right side, which made me unintentionally apply full rear brake with my right foot because we were crushed together.
Yeah.
So when that happened, the bike low-sided and her bike low-sided, and we were just like, I'm trying to picture like one of those big stack cookie things, right? So it was like hand, bike, me, bike, her, and then something else. I don't know. As we slid for miles across that track, and the finger was pretty much gone at that point.
Jeez.
Cheap gloves, not cheap gloves. They were very expensive gloves, but back then they really didn't make a gnarly, rugged women's race glove. And I get it. Well, what's your market? Well, there's 12 of us finally in the United States for racing, if that. So, we had to go with what we had to go with. And they were basically like little, you remember the passenger gloves, I called them? They're just these, I don't know, they look like something I might want to wear out on a date in the wintertime, and try to look at it, driving gloves. And so there goes the pinky. And I went to the doctor in Fresno. Hand surgeon.
To clarify, you didn't completely lose your pinky, but it was mauled pretty fucking
It was
good.
hanging from a tendon.
Oh, shit, that's bad.
It was
That's
gone.
bad.
It was
Yeah?
completely just nothing hanging.
Wow.
And they wrapped it up like a giant soccer ball looking thing of gauze. And the hand surgeon started working on it. He was trying to put it back together. He was the best hand surgeon, I think, in the state. And he dialed back the anesthesia and kind of tapped me on the head. He said, "Hey, wake up. So this isn't going to work. We're going to have to fuse it." I was like, "Fuse it?" He goes, "Well, you get an option. I mean, fuse it or we can take it off." I'm like, oh boy, yeah. Well, okay, fuse it. And he goes, okay, well, when we fuse women's hands, we usually fuse them, their pinkies like straight out so you can show off your ring. And I'm trying to like hold on to a grip, I'm thinking in my mind with my pinky sticking straight out. I'm like, I look like, is that how you drink wine? I said, not how you ride a motorcycle. I'm like, that's just not going to work. So I kid you not, this is the truth. My friend that was with me in the waiting room went to the truck, got a dirt bike grip. I kid you not, this is the truth.
This is fucking so cool.
It's the truth. I swear on my life. Brought it into the surgery room.
Nice.
And put a thing on it, a glove or something. Wrapped my hand around it. That was a radius we requested. So this is a.
That is so rad.
Guys like to look at it and go, "That ain't a grip, girl," and that's something else. Like, no, that's a grip. It's not a grip.
That's totally a grip. Totally a grip. They're just jealous because it's bigger than
Okay, that joke finally got through to everybody. Yeah, okay. Right on.
Yeah.
That's great. That's bad.
I was just trying to picture the guy running out to the truck to get a dirt bike grip.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
So after
That's rad.
that big crash, though, you weren't riding for a while.
Yeah, it took a while to recover, and then I got the race bike sort of back together, and decided I was going to try to keep doing this, and I needed to maybe move to a state where we didn't have snow and cold weather 6 months out of the year. I mean, I lived in Maine, so Loudon, New Hampshire was my closest track, and they just shut that thing down most of the time. So off to California I went.
Yeah.
So you went to California specifically for motorcycles?
Yes.
Fuck, that's so cool. God, how come I'm not doing these things?
So about what year was this?
This was in 2000, the 4th of July in 2000. I popped in and I did a couple more pro races and decided maybe that wasn't for me. So
Okay.
Still racing the TZ?
still racing the TZ, and then I started transitioning into, I did a lot of mechanics, so I was a mechanic.
So, all right, yeah, let's cover this too. So, you've been a mechanic.
Yes.
What level mechanic?
So I was a mechanic for an AMA Pro Road Racer for a year. He won the national championship, so that was kind of neat. I don't know if that was because of me. I think it was because of him, but I kept the bike going. That's all that mattered.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
You're a good component of it, I'd imagine.
And did you learn all your skills just from racing and just tearing into it, and from everyone else kind of showing you and helping you?
So yeah, I've always kind of been that way. Both feet in. I want to know how things work. I want to understand how things work. I've always been mechanically inclined, and I always want to be able to do things myself. So if someone's going to change my tire, I'm like, move over. Okay, you just talk me through this shit. I can figure this out.
Yeah.
And that's how it all came about. just being stubborn, I guess. That's what it was.
It's a good quality to have.
It's a good mechanic.
Yeah.
So you're still doing your own wrenching?
Now I don't have time. I'm running a business now, so I actually call up some favors for some pretty awesome shops, local shops and stuff that help me out.
I know what you mean. Actually, I was at R1 Rich, our friend R1 Rich. Even though I can do all the work and I help everyone do work, I take my bike to him. As I call it, it needs a spa day.
A spa day.
Because I know he will treat it better than I do. He's just meticulous. Sometimes it's just better to take it to somebody else.
Avocado mask on that tank.
Nice.
Exactly. So you came out here to California. Did you know anyone when you got out here?
Not really. No, it was kind of scary. California's a little bit different than Maine, that's for sure.
Thank God.
And did you come here to Santa Cruz?
I did. I ended up. I started off in Auberry and worked my way from Fresno to Santa Cruz.
Okay.
Got into Santa Cruz, started working for a motorcycle shop. They didn't want to hire me. They were like, "Wait, we know you. You're a road racer. You're gonna be overqualified." So I kept going back until they hired me. Started off at All American Honda here in Santa Cruz, and then went over and started up a shop. For like a silent owner. We All Ride. I'm sure you guys have heard
We've
that.
mentioned We All Ride before. Unfortunately, a lot of times now we mention it when there's a complaint.
It's a pejorative
And,
mention, unfortunately.
I know that they're working hard to try and make that a better shop, but they're struggling. And I tell everyone, We All Ride has been a fixture here in the Santa Cruz community, and it's still living on the reputation that Jocelin started. Because when Jocelin was there, it was the go-to place. You could go tell her what you needed or tell her what your problem was. She could help figure it out, get you whatever you want. You guys were doing heavy sales. I mean, it was the destination for racers, for recreational riders. Everybody went to We All Ride.
Yeah,
Are you
thank
allowed to say what years you were working with them or for them or whatever?
I don't remember. Did I tell you I've had a few concussions? I don't recall, but it was about 4.5, 5 years I worked for them,
Okay.
and we really did. I cared, and the employees that came on board cared. We had passion. We all rode. We all understood. And when someone came in looking for something, it was our mission to get an answer, make it happen. We ran a bunch of like the stunt shows. We tried to do local rides. Cool. And then I ran a riding school also, sort of out of the shop. So I taught people how to ride.
How was that?
What kind of riding?
So I started out with dirt bikes. I had a Honda 50 and a 70 and an 80 and the XR100 and the XR150. And I don't know if you remember Alloy. Remember Alloy gear? They tossed me so much stuff. And I started off by teaching kids. over at Hollister Hills, the Cow Pal. And then it kind of got into kids and women, and then mostly women, because they couldn't, I can't learn from my husband, or I can't learn from my boyfriend, or they don't have the patience. And so that was awesome. And finally, I had the chance to get more women in the sport. Because, I remember I told you, I was back when there was I felt like I was the only female in the sport. And so this was awesome. And all of a sudden, there's women riding. And then, I can go riding with a woman if I teach her how to ride. Then we can be cool together, I don't have to deal with try to fit in with all these boys. So the school was great. The school was a success. The shop was a success. And for being a second-story shop in the middle of a industrial park, it was on fire. We were doing great. Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying that Alpine Stars, you sold a crap ton of Alpine Stars gears, and you were number top 5 in the state or something?
Oh, yeah. No, I think we did. I think we did in the country. We did something top first or one or two, and dirt bike boots in the country, and Thor gear. We hit the number 2 plate for the state of California.
Sweet.
And then I started working with Alpine Stars because of the whole glove issue. I talked to them about, hey, you need to make a glove for women that really ride. So that was cool. They ended up getting a glove going, and then I worked with them on making a women's boot.
He's going to drink your water. Watch out.
Oh, I thought that was for him.
No, that's for you.
Oh, good. You can hear me. I was
some water?
I'm oh, man, there's water coming over here. I'm so thirsty. I'm oh, it's for the dog. Okay. I was all right, well, he's looking. He's giving me stink eye.
I know.
Really, can I have that water?
Yeah, that's for you. So, yeah, you were saying there really wasn't women's gloves. So how did they reach out to you? Because they knew you through all the sales you're doing?
I wish I could say they reached out to me, and they didn't. I called them up and said, yo, what the hell is this? This is not a glove. Look at my finger. Yeah. So but what a company, an amazing company. They listened. They actually came down to, we all ride, right? And they listened, and I explained, I'm look at this, men's GP plus glove. You need to make a women's glove. There's women out here that ride, that we're not just, even if we're sitting on the back as a passenger, we should be safe too. So come on.
Totally.
That glove was fantastic. And it recently came off the market. It's been replaced with something else, but it went, so what are we at, 15, 16, 17 years?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I thought, well, that was fun. So I spoke up again at an Alpine Star meeting with some dirt bike boots. And I threw the dirt bike boots down and said, so I can't wear these dirt bike boots because when I put a men's dirt bike boot on, I'm what I call leg locked. In other words, it came over my knee. So, try walking like that, right? Yeah. It was with 2 broken legs. And then the youth boots were very, let's say, less protection. Yeah, thank you. Good word. So we worked together and developed a women's motocross boot, which was really cool. So
nice.
Good stuff.
That's cool.
Excellent.
So you did some cool shit for women, man. That's cool.
Thanks. I'd like to think so.
I'm totally honored to be hanging out in the room.
Aw, that's sweet.
Cool.
Man, I would thank you, but I wear men's sizes. Bex, go ahead, thank her for me.
Yeah. I do appreciate. I know the struggle in trying to find small but adequate protection that's not bright pink.
Oh gosh, pink or teal? I just beg them.
It's
I'm
all right.
geez, any color but pink and teal. Come on.
Actually, I'd be
purple.
even. Yeah, exactly.
No.
I'd be fine if even if I could find something that has armor. It took me months to find my protective wear for my hands.
It's true. Yeah, and it's
to have a full armor that fit.
It's getting better, but it's still not where it should be.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
Agreed.
are looking at me. I'm wearing kids boots right now. These are
wow.
youth
Oh, wow.
size 5.
Yeah, I have
Kids
same
fans.
youth size 5 dirt bike shoes. Yep.
So up to this point, you've been riding dirt, street, track. I know I've seen you do sumo, racing, supermoto, and then you started doing some traveling, some adventure riding, yeah?
Yeah.
What were some of the... so you got the travel bug?
Yeah, I thought the racing thing was kind of fizzling out. I felt like I could feel more more stuff, more pain, more metal, more things were hurting.
Were you? Was it really hurting your wallet too, having to dump a fucking ton of money?
Yes,
racing?
it was, and that was, I had. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of sponsors and a lot of help, but I always tell people, racing is the closest thing to a dollar sign, hands down. So, I kind of started fizzling out on the racing and started riding for fun, which was cool. That was something I hadn't really done since I had bought that dirt bike when I was a little kid. So, started doing that and got an Edelweiss trip and went on to do the best of Europe and thought that was so cool. I went and did it again. And then,
what's the best of Europe again?
Oh, you start off in Germany, and you do Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France. You get a little piece of Italy sometimes.
Oh, it's like a tour group.
Isn't
it mostly an Alps trip?
It can't. Well, so Edelweiss is a tour company that's basically worldwide. Wherever the heck you want to go, you can go. But this particular one was the best of Europe, and it had the Alps in it. Oh my gosh, it was like just.
What were you riding on that?
So that. Both times that I did the best of Europe, I was riding a GS 650 BMW. Okay. And then I did the best of Italy, and I did that on the Ducati Multistrada. And you guys are looking at me, you're sizing me up. And I can't touch the ground on any of them.
Is it the old school Multistrada, the ugly Strada?
No, it was a cooler one. I looked cool. Really, it was cooler, I swear.
I like that.
So that was pretty fun, and I can't touch the ground on any of the bikes in my garage. I see you looking. You're still looking.
No, I don't think I've ever seen your feet touch the ground.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't happen.
Are you saying her feet are always up in the air?
Man, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What are you saying?
Did you get into my personal life somehow?
Not on purpose.
No.
But I've seen the videos where you ride and you are just right there when you have to stop. You just come right down. And just put that one foot down.
Tripod.
Yeah. Did you guys see that Facebook thing that went viral for a little bit, where the guy's riding his bike in front of the car and then he jumps off and stands next to his bike, and then the light turns green, he jumps back on. It's not fucking funny, all right? This is a real thing, all right? I've done that.
I once saw a real little person like super small, I don't know, 3
little
feet,
people,
3 feet tall, maybe.
Little people.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was riding a scooter, like the smallest scooter you could get, but he was riding it, and he had to do the same kind of move. He had to hop off at every light, but he was rocking it, man. I was
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was running.
I love that stuff.
That's great.
I imagine it just keeps you agile.
It does. Yeah.
So, what other adventure trips have you done?
I was using a KTM 990 SMT Supermoto Touring.
Yeah.
It's kind of a rarity bike. I turned it into an adventure bike. I put knobbies on it, and then I had to make a bracket to lift up the front fender so the knobbies would fit in there. And I got boxes for it. So I had the big metal boxes, pannier boxes, right? So this thing looked like an adventure bike, but it really wasn't. But I pretended it was because it had 17-inch wheels, so I could just scoot off the seat enough to get my feet down. And so this was my adventure bike.
Nice.
And then I did 4 or 5 KTM adventure rallies in a row, and really enjoyed myself with it. And then I got the BMW bug. Yeah. So I went ahead and I don't know, I guess I get bored maybe, but I just went ahead and I bought a GSA 1200. So it's the biggest one they make there, I guess. And decided I was going to take off and go to Alaska. So so that was when I entered adventure riding, which was a year and 4 months ago. And I went to Alaska. I did 30 days, 12,000 miles. It was
fantastic.
The best thing I've ever done in my life. Best thing I've ever. I mean, and everyone talks about it. And guess what? There's not a good time to go. I mean, I was trying to run a business. I think I had 2 employees quit the day before I left. Just everything fell apart. And I was like, no, you know what? Fuck this. I deserve this. I'm going. I want this. And it was the best thing I have ever done.
I got a question for you. I asked this for people who go on long trips. At what point did you realize on the road you realized, holy shit, I'm doing this? Because for some people it's 200-300 miles and you're, all right, I'm at a point of no return and I could die out here, but whatever, I'm going to do it anyways. When was that moment for you?
It's kind of this transitional period. It started off not even 100 miles out, where I felt relaxed because, running your own business, your head's always going, your mind's always going. You wake up in the middle of the night thinking of stuff. And about 100 miles out, all of a sudden I was completely relaxed.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that motorcycling can bring. And it was just peace. And nothing mattered but the open road and the terrain in front of me and the bike and the scenery, and it was awesome. And it was a selfish reason. I took the trip for myself. I wanted to see stuff. I wanted to do things. I wanted to ride my new bike. But then about the second day, we were posting this. I went with a buddy on a KTM. I'll get to that too. It's kind of interesting. But so we were posting every single day. We were posting the photos and little stories of things that happened. And people were replying in off social media, hey, I'm not at my house, but it looks like you guys are going right by. The key's under the mat. The fridge is full of beer. Knock yourself out. Spend the night. There's tools in the garage. I mean, people were coming out of the woodwork just offering to help. Is there anything we can do? Is there anything you need? Oh, by the way, I have a mechanic friend. He's going to be right in the town you're going if you need anything. And it's taken care of. And it brought back like my belief in humanity, because when I left I had a little bit of a sour feeling on it,
Yeah.
and that, wait a minute, people are good out there, and people are awesome. And then what happened is people were writing in saying, oh, Jocelyn, you don't even understand, this is like, I'm living vicariously through you, and I mean it. I had an injury. I used to ride my motorcycle and I had an injury and I can't ride bikes anymore, and I wake up in the morning and I run to my computer to see your posts and see where you are, and I've always wanted to go to Alaska, and I'm reading this, several of these, and tears coming down my face, and the trip changed. And at that point, it wasn't about me anymore. It was about, wow, I can show people what's out here. I mean, everyone's seeing this. Everyone's seeing these pictures and these places to go, and it became like, well, what can I show them today? And it was more about them.
Cool.
And that's when it became even more rewarding.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
All right, let's go back a little bit more, because you've got so much more writing you've done. So at some point you got a business going too, doing another sign business?
Yeah, so I had a sign business on the East Coast, and when I got out of the motorcycle shops, I decided I better do what I know, and that's signs. So being a contractor here, so I got a sign business and I got a vehicle wrap business, so snow signs and crazy wraps in Salinas. Got me pretty busy.
Cool.
No, too busy.
Yeah. You want to explain? Because I hit you up too. You made a mistake. Uh-oh. You posted something on social media.
There we go.
Yeah.
Probably.
You make wraps for your GS, and you keep throwing up different colors and designs on, and it's really sharp looking, and it sets it apart. And
Here come the biker dork.
Every time you have like a new wrap on it, you show it off. I'm like, I want that.
Oh boy, yeah. You do. It was a mistake, because you have no idea that video. And by the way, that's the first video I think I've ever made. I was like, how do you make a video with an iPhone? So it was pretty amateur, but that thing went somewhat viral. And what was it? It's been up maybe 3 weeks. We've had 78 inquiries of people begging for wraps on GS bikes. I think there's a business in just that. It's like, no, I just want to change the color on my bike, not everyone else's bike.
Well, those Beamer guys have the money for that too, so it's like, yeah, man, go for it.
It does. It tends to be the demographic is, the male, over 40, retired,
But what I like is if it gets messed up, scratched, or you don't like it, you just peel it off.
Yep.
Exactly. And so I don't know what the reason was. Maybe it was all of those why I did it. And we've already talked about how I kind of have, I lose attention on things. But, changing the color is fun. When I took the wrap off, I had like an army green wrap. The bike was blue. So when I took the wrap off, the bike looked brand new. Like, wow. Cool. And believe me, this bike's hit the ground, okay? So I was like, wow, this looks like it just walked out of the showroom. So I'm going to keep wrapping it. So I wrapped it again, red, white, and blue, I guess.
Nice.
Do you want people to contact you if they want to get wrapped?
You can contact me. Just don't expect me to contact you back right away.
No, it looks great, and I don't think you were prepared for this.
No, it wasn't.
Well, where do you go to check it out if you want to check it out online?
Yeah, you can go to crazywraps.com, and it's a K for crazy. K for crazy. I guess I'm crazy.
I get that one.
Yeah, okay, just make sure. Just a second. And and check it out. And there's Facebook page and all that good stuff.
All right, so you've done some other cool trips. Let's cover some more things. There's so many things you've done. So our listeners are very familiar with Zero motorcycles. We've had them on the show, and we talk about them often. So you have worked with the Zero before.
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
Boy, let me think about this. I'm going to say this might have been about 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
I'm going to say 6. Again, the concussions and put the timeline together.
Back in the early days.
Oh, yeah. I keep Facebook just so I know my timeline. It's not for anyone else. It's like, what happened? No, we did a little thing called Ride to Adventure, a little show, and we rode the bikes down the Anza Borrego desert and stuff. Got to ride the bike underwater through the only water. I know water in the desert was kind of interesting, and it performed very well. It was just really quiet, It just plowed through the water. Really neat stuff. An amazing company. So it was short-lived. It was just a one show. Fun, good stuff.
But that older version had a much weaker battery. How long could you go on a charge on that? The kind of riding you were doing?
Sure, yeah. So check this out. It was kind of interesting. My co-rider was a big, tall, guy. I think he was, oh my God. To me, he looked 8 feet. He might have been 6. Everybody looks 8.
He's way up there.
Yeah, he was up there. And his battery, they had to change his battery at break. They had to change his battery at lunch. They had to change his battery after lunch. And I rode all day on the same battery, so I couldn't understand. And then someone explained it. Well, it's load, right? So it's electric motor. You got load on the
and
motor.
draft
And draft. So I think that's a lot of it, and because we were riding them the same, we were going the same speeds, we're riding together side by side. That's neat. You ride the Zero motorcycle, you ride side by side, and we're having a conversation like we're having right now.
Yeah.
It's like, so do you want to take the trail up ahead on the left? You're not screaming, or you don't have to have like your communication device. You're just
And you could even have a cup of coffee in your other hand,
you
right?
can. I mean,
While
it's
you're
so
having a conversation.
quiet, and you're watching the little deer prance in front of you because they don't even see you. Those electric bikes are cool.
So yeah, what did you think? Is that something that interests you?
I was very impressed. I really was. Except where I've gone now is more, I want to go for a long period of time. For instance, the GSA, I don't know, we call that the Exxon Valdez. I mean, that thing carries, I don't know,
Tanker,
200 gallons of fuel. I'm not real sure. When the fuel
huge.
tankers run out, I pull over on the side of the freeway and I fill them back up. It's a lot of fuel. And so I just want to go longer distance. I want a bigger adventure. I want to, travel farther, see new things. So the Zero doesn't really work for me on that. Now, there are those times when I can't get away because I'm busy and I'm working, where I want to go like poach a state park or poach something like that. Then maybe the Zero makes sense. We could wrap it camouflage and we could go ride around.
Oh, sick.
The park. Henry Cowell, here we come.
So we love Zero bikes. We also love the Alta bikes.
Oh yes, very cool. And
Have you tried an Alta?
I have not.
Alta's basically a race-ready bike, where the Zeros are more of a
Commuter, like
commuter, more affordable.
city bike.
Alta is a race-ready bike. They're really amazing, and they're making some big plays this year, so you should keep an eye out for that.
Definitely will.
But you should try one of those.
They've got an enduro version out now.
No,
Yeah, that just came out.
that
But they're more into
sounds
the dirt, the flat tracker stuff. But yeah, they're fun to watch.
All right, let's cover some amazing other shit you've done. Like, you did a little Baja trip.
Yes, I rode Baja a couple times with Malcolm Smith. Which
Okay,
was pretty fun.
Oh, really?
Not fair.
Really? Okay.
Not fair.
I gotta throw some names around.
Yeah.
It helps me look important, right?
Okay, that's a
Did
dream.
you drop something there? Did you drop a name?
Man, I gotta tell you right now, that man, what an inspiration. He is truly one of my heroes. I can't even talk when I talk about it. I get all choked up. That man is amazing.
How old is he now?
I don't even know. He's ancient. And he, broken hips and stuff. And he climbs on that bike and outrides anyone.
God.
He's just something else. And to be able to ride with him, and of course we stop at the orphanage and we give the kids rides on the bikes, and those kids are just and then they thought, well, it's a girl, that was cool, so the kids are on a ride on the girl's bike. We just had a blast.
And he's probably been doing that for like decades. And decades.
He sure has.
What's he riding down there?
Oh, he's been on KTM, so mostly the KTM, the 4-strokes.
Bull Taco.
Sometimes a 2-stroke. Yeah, he changes it up, right? Mr. Baja, right? So I'm not sure what he's riding now. I haven't ridden that with him in a while. I did. I had the opportunity to ride in Colorado a couple times with. I don't know. You probably don't know Chad Reed and Jeremy McGrath.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, I didn't really ride with them. I think I may have sucked their dust, but it was an experience nevertheless. I know when I pulled out on one of the trails and Chad Reed's like on the side of the trail and he's talking with some of the other riders and they're hanging on their bike and I'm like, oh, I got to impress him because I was the only girl there, right? So I got to impress him. So I go by and I pop this wheelie and, I don't know, my foot flipped off the peg and so I couldn't take the wheelie down and he just get like higher and higher. I'm like, I'm going to loop my shit. I'm so going to loop it. And it was like, it was like almost past balance point. I'm like, I'm dead right now. And it just kind of rolled off and it worked its way back and it came back down. I'm like, I'm just going to pretend like I'm meant to do that. And then it comes down and I'm like, I don't know, a quarter mile away from him. But I looked back and I was like, yeah, that's right. I did that. But he doesn't know who I am anyway. But it was fun. Good times. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my God! Have you done any other amazing trips like that? I mean, you're making us jealous.
No. You guys, come on, man. This is where it's at. All this worked up to here. All the stuff I've done got me here.
This is the pinnacle of your career.
This is where I wanted to be.
You heard that here first. You're at the peak.
Yeah.
You're at peak Jocelyn right now.
Yeah.
No, not racing 2-stroke at AMA. It's this. Yeah.
So I'm like the jack. I'm the jack of all trades. I've done the flat track. I've done the motocross. I've done a little tiny bit of trials. I did the hair scrambles, the touring.
Adventure. Have you done scooter riding?
Yes. Only when I had to help a guy get it from point A to point B.
Okay.
Yeah, not too much scooter.
Sidecar racing?
Yes, I got to try the monkey.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Cool.
That was the craziest thing. How did they do? I was so fucking tired after the first lap. This was, where did we do that? Loudon, New Hampshire. And to climb over on one end and then climb over on the other end. And then your helmet so you're laying off this thing as far as you can with your face an inch from the pavement, and rocks and debris are like whacking you in the face shield, and the pavement's going by, and it's just like, what it is, it's like right before you crash for a long period of time. And you're just like, shit. That was, and we got one lap out, and I'm giving him, like, I'm tapping him, like, I'm tapping out, I'm done. This is crazy. How do you guys do that? And they call him a monkey, and I call him like a god. I don't know. That's crazy. But that was pretty fun. Yes, a little bit of that.
Have you ridden a Harley?
Yes,
okay.
I have. Road King, and what was a Street Glide, and a Heritage with a Screaming Eagle package.
Anything else you guys can think? We can test her to see if she's
Bring
done
it.
Ice racing.
Yes.
Oh!
That was in Maine. We put the little studs on our tires. It was pretty fun. I mean, what else do you do in Maine in the winter? Ice fish, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa!
I got a question for you.
Okay.
What's the primary difference aside from weather? Obviously, the biking culture in Maine versus California.
So that's interesting. You asked me that.
Yeah.
It's not really. I get asked that all the time.
Really?
People want to know.
That's interesting. Generic question.
So they want to know. Is it the weather?
Yeah.
No. Is it? This is what it is. Honestly, the biggest contrast from the far East Coast to the West Coast is the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, now
That's what I
don't get me
figured.
wrong. I'm a California girl now. I love California over here. But I'm telling you, the people on the East Coast, it's a whole different deal. And it may be because the towns are smaller. There's less people. But my biggest I guess, challenge of what I had to adapt to when I got to California was the people. I was used to going to the grocery store. You go to the grocery store, and by the time you get to the checkout, you've made friends with everybody in line. As a matter of fact, the lady behind you probably invited you to a picnic with her and her kids, some birthday that she's having that afternoon. And that's how it worked there. When you mow your lawn on the East Coast, you might mow over onto your neighbor's lawn and then weed whack around his mailbox because we don't have fences there.
Yeah.
You know, there's this everything. You can pull off on the side of the road and just walk into the woods. You know, in California, you get stuck in the deer net. You're just like there's fences everywhere. Everybody has a fence. Everybody has a property line. And it just seemed like it was. I was used to going to the gym, and you talk to everybody. So, you know, I moved to Fresno and I went down to the, I don't know what it was, the, 10-hour fitness club or whatever it was. And
only 10 hours.
Yeah.
Every other
Just
day.
10 hours.
Because there's, what is it? The other 12? Well, I'm sorry, 14? Yeah. Whoa, there's math in there. Yeah, you got to rest. So... yeah, I went down there and I just tried to ride in. Like, hey, how you doing? Where are you from? And I was like, I don't think I ever got so many dirty looks in my life. Definitely the people. I mean, the weather's a big thing. Don't get me wrong. The weather's, that's why I moved here. But it's the people.
Yeah, and that translated to actual the motorcycling community too. It was a little bit tighter knit in the East Coast because, I mean, aside from you being a woman and being a kind of a rare gem over there, right? Like, was the community there as tight as it is out here, or was it different as far as motorcycling?
So it was different to me then because being a female in the male sport was a big deal.
Sure.
I mean, it wasn't. Now there's women everywhere, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And so that it's not such a big deal anymore. But maybe that's one of the things that I like about the motorcycle community is that people, like I said, people I don't even know are my friends.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can pull up to a gas station and I can go and walk over to the 3 other motorcyclists and we're BFFs.
Yeah.
If I'm in trouble on the side of the road, a motorcyclist is who's going to stop. When I did my Alaska trip, I carried 6 bottles of fuel, and that's back to that KTM story we can talk about later. So 6 bottles of fuel, and most of the time they were used to fill up Harley Davidson on the side of the road, because and the guys, there's these guys, I think 6 to be. I wanted to actually make little stickers and put them on my tank for every time I filled up a Harley on the side of the road. So 6, because there's mountain passes and I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff and remote roads, and there's not a lot of gas stations out there. But yeah, and the guys would say, man, I've been on the side of the road for 45 minutes, an hour, and then I just, well, it doesn't get dark here, at least in Alaska, at least I could see you. But yeah, and then it was me. It was a motorcycle that stopped, So we're awesome. We're a nice, tight group. We take care of each other. It's, it's a place to be.
So now I want to hear the KTM story.
So there was I put the offer out to everybody I knew. Who wants to ride to Alaska with me? And it was kind of like, whoa, a month? I can't take a month. So at first I thought I was going to go by myself. Okay, I'll write a magazine article about it or whatever and have fun with it. Finally, a good buddy of mine that lives up in Oregon said he'd go. So he had the KTM 1190, great bike, awesome bike. And I went on the BMW 1200 GSA. And so not too long after we left, I guess it became a big deal. It's like I said, we were writing every day on Facebook the photos and stories of our thing. But the people who were watching, probably they didn't give a shit about our photos or the story. They just wanted to know which bike is going to make it, the KTM or the BMW? Who's going to break down, And with the BMW had a stanchion issue with the fork tubes, and I had recently had mine fixed, and it was just before the recall, which has happened now, which I had them fixed again when I got back and recalled. But so there was that going on, and so the GS Giants, the Facebook page, the GS Giants, all the BMW guys are watching this post, and so were the KTM guys. So let's just see if the KTM makes it through this or if the BMW.
Yeah.
Now anybody, and you guys,
and
it was a V-Strom, right? It was a KLR that made it up there.
Winner. Well, the KTM had several problems and was in the shop a few times eventually. And what's funny is I got to tease my friend because a year prior, I took him on that KTF Adventure Rally. We went to, where did we go? Colorado, South Dakota, and his bike broke down every time. One time it was on the extraterrestrial highway.
Oh, I've been on that road. That's a great road. That's cool.
Try living on it for 2 days.
No, thank you.
This time I told him, okay, dude, listen, if you're going to ride with me to Alaska, which, by the way, he decided 10 days before it was time to go.
Oh.
I said, you're going to prep that motorcycle like you've never prepped it before. In other words, take it to your dealer. So I said, I want change, sprockets, brake pads. I mean, change your oil. I mean, this thing, check your valves. This thing needs to be like rocking, ready to go. Get your new tires on, everything you need, which he did. But it had some hiccups along the way, and then we got, don't get me wrong, we were sucking some pretty bad fuel. So,
I see, yeah.
And his bike was running out, so wherever I filled my cans from, he was getting it, because he would run out of fuel while I had half a tank.
Interesting.
Easy. So, anyway, I think he messed up his fuel filter or something like that, and the bike wouldn't run anymore, along with some other problems that we had. And I eventually left him in a beautiful hotel at a nice KTM dealership, and we agreed to meet back up in 2 or 3 days at another location. So he beelined to the meeting point, and I rode the remote roads. We did the back road discovery routes, dirt roads, so I rode the rest of the dirt roads until we met up a few days later.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Meet a lot of Beamer dudes happy, huh?
Yeah.
Made them justify their purchase. It's like, see, I told you.
I had like 42 new friend likes. The GS Giants were like, oh, come join our group.
BMW needs to send you like a check or something.
I have to ask you, though.
Okay.
You are not large, as we already established. And the GS 1200 is sort of large. What do you do when you fall over?
Yeah, so that bike is a bit big. So the GSA, so I have a GSA and I also have the 1200 GS. I've had that for a week. Today was its first ride. And when I fall over, so this is how I'm riding. I mean, if I'm riding straight, I'm riding on the street, I'm riding turns, curves, whatever. If the bike's moving, I'm not falling over. So if I'm doing technical terrain, rocks and sticks and logs and telephone poles and stuff, most of the time I'm not falling over. But if I'm doing a technical situation, loose dirt or sand or something, I'm probably going to eat my shit. We're only going for second gear. You're feathering the clutch. It's a slow tip over. They're not like pile drive crashes. I knock on wood, I haven't done any of that yet. So when I tip over, the bike hits the ground, and it takes a while before I hit the ground.
I picture you just jump off like a ninja.
You kind of just jump off, and it's really just a tip over. Like we have when we're on our dirt bikes, right? And we tip them over in the woods, except I have 600 pounds I got to pick back up. So I've gotten pretty good at it.
Cool.
Picking them back up.
So really, you just get under there and use the leverage, and you can heft that thing up.
Exactly.
Wow.
Use the squat, right? You use your lift it up backwards.
It's all the legs. It really is all the legs. Now, when I was freighted for Alaska with full panniers and tools and tent and sleeping bag, I mean, I looked like, some sort of a oompa loompa on this big old, like I had an RV on the back of my bike. And that did tip over, and I could not lift that bike. So and we would team, two of us on one bike and get that thing back upright.
So you've been riding a long time. You've done racing. You've done it all. You're getting up there in the years. Now's the time to just take it easy, right?
So I thought, I was like, maybe just to do some more tours, relax, see some light. But no, I got this kind of wild hair to sign up for this GS Trophy qualifier.
Okay. Until recently, I'd never heard of the GS Trophy. So for people who haven't, let's cover what it is. This is a BMW sponsored event, yes?
It is, correct. And it's too bad you hadn't heard of it, but I hadn't either till someone told me. And I don't really know if they market this thing quite the way they
this
should.
is an international
It
event.
is.
So it started in 2008 and it runs every other year.
So yes, so sort of. Yes. Every sort of. Yes. Wait. So
Well, yeah, the event itself is
correct.
every other year.
Exactly. The 1 year is a qualifier, and then they have all the countries qualify, and if you can qualify to make the team, which is usually a team of 3. BMW likes to do things in threes, I guess. So
Yeah.
if you're a team of 3, then you make the team, then you get to go to whatever country the following year that they're going to host the GS Trophy. So you have your GS Trophy qualifier on the first year and the actual GS Trophy. The GS Trophy is kind of like, I could describe it as the Olympics of motorcycles. So all the countries coming together and everybody trying to do the impossible on these
And
things.
it's like the decathlon.
Yeah, it's no
So
joke.
let's explain what this is, because this isn't a timed race. This is it's like a skills test.
So the qualifier is a skills test. This is not about time. Well, some stuff's timed, but you're not racing against other people.
All right, do your
right?
best
Exactly.
to describe what this is.
So in the qualifier, they want to see that you can control the motorcycle, balance the motorcycle. There's a lot of drills like hang on to a rope and only use your clutch and ride rough terrain in a circle as you wrap the rope around the barrel. Don't let the rope touch the ground, that kind of stuff. Or here's deep sand, deep sand, and we want you to slalom, but don't put your foot down or touch the ground. As you slalom through the cones, don't hit a cone, and the cone's only as wide as your cylinders that are sticking out, by the way. Or here's some mud, deep mud, and we want you to get into the mud and slalom through them. Or here's some cones with tennis balls on top. They're in a line, sort of, over bumpy terrain. We want you to stand on your bike, use your clutch, using only your clutch to motor the vehicle forward, scooch down, pick up a tennis ball, don't stop, keep going, don't put your foot down,
That's
go to
fucked
the
up.
next cone, drop the cone. Yeah, you fucked up. It is, it basically,
That's awesome.
can you operate a latte machine while you're riding?
Seriously.
And not spill it.
Can you put your eyeliner on while, that's the women's
Paint
class.
your nails
right?
as you're driving a manual
Exactly.
transmission.
And do the little flowers and bedazzle it with a diamond. But don't take your foot off the brake while you're turning right. It's just,
So I wanted to say, in honor of a video that you had posted of a little technique that you do, right? Where, let's best we can describe it. There's a pole with like a 10-foot long stick extending off of it.
right.
And that other end of that stick is sitting on the top of another pole. It's just balanced on it, right?
Right, so it looks kind of like a limbo, if you guys can imagine.
Or like a goal post,
limbo
maybe.
stick, right?
And it's actually, it looked high on you. It was like 5 feet high.
Everything
maybe.
looks high on
I know.
me. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
So you ride up to it using just your clutch with your throttle hand free.
Correct.
You ride up and you pick up the loose end of the stick and you ride in a perfect circumference, full circle, bring it back around, and you have to set it back down where it began.
Exactly. And so you don't want to pull the other holder that's holding the stick. You don't want to knock that over. You don't want to get too far away where you have to drop the stick. You don't want to get too close. You're not going to make the turn. And it's a good
And you're
control.
standing and using clutch control and do this. So, in honor of that, I set up a test for everyone today out in the parking lot.
Awesome.
I rode up and I saw this and I was like, what? Are we limboing?
Nice.
What?
It was similar in that I used 2 traffic cones and then an 8-foot stick of PVC pipe.
Nice.
And you had to ride up to one of the traffic cones, pick up the end of the PVC, and ride a perfect circle around, and then set it back on the top of the traffic cone.
It worked quite well.
Very
It's pretty cool.
How did it work? How did everybody
There
do?
was a cradle, and then there was the pivot cone.
Yep.
So there's the cradle cone and the pivot cone.
Exactly.
And it took some practice. Like, I mastered it on my Elite 150 scooter.
Nice.
I don't think I could do it on anything else.
But I'll say I don't think I could do it on the scooter, but I did it on a TTR 225.
Oh, perfect. Nice.
Well, it's not 500 pounds, but
No, but it's still balance. It's balance. I mean, at this point when you're balancing, the bike doesn't really weigh anything.
it was fun though to try.
Yeah.
Bex did it on the scooter. It took a big learning curve.
I'd never ridden on a scooter before.
and she stuck with it.
And I did it, and I don't know. You guys were so patient. I went around in circles.
It was teaching her where to look.
Yeah.
It was teaching her where
That's
to
the key.
look. Bagel did it after just a couple tries on his scooter.
Way to go, Bagel.
Both directions.
Nice.
With the clutch.
Both directions.
Henry gave it a shot on your, what is it, a CBR?
VFR.
VFR 1000?
800.
800. Could
That
not turn it in a tight enough circle. Like, he was trying. It was kind of sketchy watching. But he tried. And then Charlie's like, let me try it on your bike.
On your bike. Oh, no.
You should know, Charlie did it on the scooter. Then he jumped up to the TTR, did it. And then he did it on his FZ6.
Wow.
That was pretty
You
good.
should sign up for the GS Trophy.
So Charlie's now ready for the next challenge, and he jumps on the VFR. I was feeling extremely uncomfortable as I was watching Charlie try and maneuver this thing slow speed in a tight circle and leaning it so tight, and he was wobbling and almost falling over, and I'm just like, ah! And he would just accelerate out, which we do not have a large parking lot, so there were things you could run into.
Right.
Yeah, his leg was
You
coming out for some of that.
You don't normally hear Liza go, ah,
I shut it down because he was giving it the go.
That's awesome.
But
He was getting
it
close.
It was so sketchy. And then Knock, I roped him into it. I'm like, do you want to do it on the scooter? Or you want to try it on your big bike? Charlie did it on a big bike.
No, you offered me the scooter. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it on this piece of shit. Let's do it on my bike. And I kind of did it.
He kind of did it, and then he fell over and bent his brake lever.
No, it was my foot lever. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but
fine.
he gave it a shot. So everybody got to do it. Everyone who came out
Considering
here.
that was the first time ever,
No,
I
I'm
think
not-
anyone
I'm not
can
saying
no,
imagine,
good job.
I thought it was a great test, and I was,
It was. Yeah.
making everybody do it on whatever choice of
Somebody
whatever
did
bike
it
they
on the,
wanted to do.
Elsinore
We should
too.
keep that set up every weekend.
Mike did it
I
on the
like it.
Elsinore.
Yeah,
Did he?
Elsinore.
So I wanted to thank you, Jocelyn,
Wow.
for posting that. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, we had so much fun.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So
Thank you.
let's get back. So on the GS Trophy, so you do this qualifying. There's all these different tests. Then you go to the event, which you said is it's a 3-man team, and they have a team from every country. Is that correct?
Correct. From every
I think
country
it's like
that
15
participates.
countries that participate.
No, I think
There's
it's.
17.
I think it's more like 40. I thought.
Okay.
But now, geez, can we pause this while we Google
I did read up on it earlier. I'm pretty
Last
sure.
year it was much less than it was going to be this year. So this year it's grown every year, and it's changed. It's morphed into a little bit of a different scenario each year, with women being allowed last year. So then the qualifier 2 years ago, they had women get in.
I'm curious. You know, you had so much experience riding. When you got into the competition, was it a steep learning curve, or could you adapt pretty quickly? And then, like, do you have to train for this now? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I didn't adapt very quickly because I was very nervous with all the people. There's people following you with iPhones. There's people following you with cameras. There's public. Everybody's screaming, and so that took me back to like my other racing days.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing I had to adapt to. Practicing, I did once I. Well, let me back up and tell you like why I signed up. So 2 years ago when they allowed women in. The women rode, I believe, the same course as the men did, but the final selection of the women was, if you will, more of a little bit of a popularity contest. So they had to make a video, post it online, and whoever got the most likes.
Wait, just the chicks?
Wait, what?
Correct.
Fuck that.
So I'm going to tell you that I did not participate then, but don't worry, I hadn't heard about it. So,
Fair enough.
They hadn't heard about you.
So then I bought this. I buy this GS, and someone says, "Well, you got a GS? You gonna do the GS trophy qualifier?" I was like, "What's that?" It says it's got trophy in it. Maybe I'll check it out. It sounds like something I haven't done. And he said, "Well, 2 years ago, it's every other year, and 2 years ago, the women were, allowed to race, and it was a who had the most likes on a video. Oh, that bummed me out.
Yeah.
So apparently a lot of women said the way you feel, right? You tell them how you feel. So they made sure they let BMW know, and I'm sure some of the other companies. And eventually this year it was announced that women will be riding the same course as the men. They actually can have the same chance to get on the team. The team is now co-ed. If a female can win the overall.
Perfect.
So it's not men's team and a women's team. You're competing for the same slot.
Sort of.
Okay.
It's a little bit more. So the women get 2 chances to win now. So it's because there's not as many women competing as men. So with the men, let's say the men and the women, you can win your spot to go to Mongolia. Actually, Mongolia is next year's race.
Wow.
So we have an East Coast qualifier, a Central qualifier, and a West Coast qualifier. From each qualifier, there's only one winner. Okay, that winner goes to Mongolia, period. That's the overall winner, period.
Wow.
So if a female were to make it into the overall winner, she's on the team. Guess what? First time ever team co-ed. And that like intrigued me. I thought, wow, we could change history right here. You know, we could actually.
That's cool.
And then the women have another option. They also take the first place female from the East Coast, the Central, and the West Coast. Now we have 3 female winners. Then those 3 females will somehow, and we didn't know at the time, be brought down to 2. And I thought, oh, it could be social media. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but it will be brought down to 2 women. And then those 2 women are going to go to South Africa. So all the countries that competed have 2 women from each country. We're all going to be in South Africa, and then they're all going to compete to get on what we're going to call the women's international team of 3. So these are 3 women made up of whichever 3 countries win down there. And then those 3 women are the women's international team. Now they go to Mongolia and compete against the men.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now what's interesting is, so the GS Trophy was brought about by BMW to celebrate the spirit of the GS. So GS means something in German, which I don't want to try to say on the radio, but it essentially it means off-road.
Geländersport.
We'll call it.
Gelände is what?
Nice job.
Geländersport.
Thank you.
Off-road sport.
Yeah.
So, so basically celebrating the off-road. And I totally lost track where I was going with that. And we could probably rewind.
The women's team and the international women's team.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So, thank you.
Yep.
That's great. Someone's listening. Because I'm not. So, the idea of the actual GS Trophy that's going to happen in Mongolia is you have to finish as a team.
Yeah.
So you start with 3, you finish with 3, period. You know, the guy loses a leg, loses a limb, throw him on the saddlebag, get him on there, get him out through. Everybody has to finish. So you have to work together as a team. Communication and teamwork and get your bikes over obstacles. So I think it's kind of a joke. I don't know how it's going to work out when you got 3 women from 3 different countries speaking 3 different languages. You know, it's like she's speaking Greek and I don't know what it is she wants me to do with the bike right now. You know, but we got to go. The men are going. Let's go. But anyway, so that's the idea.
That's
Okay,
cool.
so just 2 weeks ago was the
a couple
West
weeks
Coast competition.
ago. It was.
This is your first time entering it.
It was.
All right. Don't worry about Bosley.
Bosley is coughing up
coughing
something.
and he's spinning like a dead cockroach in the corner. Don't worry.
Oh, Bosley.
What did you put in this water?
He's a pug, and just pugs deal with shit. That's all you gotta know. So it's your first time at the event. You didn't expect too much out of this, right?
No, I didn't really know too much what to expect, except I had, done a little bit of research on YouTube and, watched some videos, and that's where I kind of learned about the spinning rod like you guys built here and some of the balance techniques. So I actually got a ranch offered up to me with 3 large fields, and I set up some structures like a teeter-totter, and someone brought in some telephone poles. You have to ride across a telephone pole or 2,
Wow.
see how many feet of telephone. You can do 40 feet without falling off the telephone pole. So I built that and I trained every night after work, every weekend for 2 weeks.
That's cool.
That's so cool.
And
Where is this ranch located?
So you had so you're competing for first, second, and third.
So only first. So they have a first place winner from female from the East Coast, the Central, and the West Coast. And then they have the first place male from the East Coast, the Central, and the West Coast. So I went down there not really sure what to expect, and just kind of gave it everything I had and tried to have fun with it.
Yeah, but you're a competitor at heart, right?
Yeah.
You're like,
I thought I had lost that, and all of a sudden she comes up, I'm like, whoa, who the fuck are you? I'm like, oh my God, you're competitive. Okay,
It's
I
on
forgot
now.
about that.
Yeah.
Here we go. And so actually the bike and I, we qualified so for the first day, it's a weed them all out.
Yeah.
So we had 56 people sign up, something like that, and they were only going to take 20.
So this is open to anyone who pays the $200, has the right type of motorcycle, and is not a professional racer. There's not many restrictions or requirements.
Right.
And it has to be a GS. Can it be any size GS?
It can be any size GS. I believe 650 and up or something like that. Yeah.
and you're still doing it on the big one?
I did. I took my 1200 GSA down there, and everybody's like laughing at me. But I qualified. I was tied for 9th with, there was a bunch of ties for 2nd, 3rd, which put me, I guess, 16th overall. And so I was the only female out of the East, Central, or West that qualified on the cut. So that was kind of fun.
And are you just more comfortable on the bigger bike because you've done so many miles on it? Or does it work for that competition?
I've been listening to her. Her thing is she can't reach the ground, so she can't stop.
Yeah.
She just keeps going. This is why she's so successful and everything. It's not an option to stop.
No, I did explore the other GS, the 650, the 800, and truly the 1200 is easier to ride off-road.
Yeah.
So the pineapples that stick out, those big kind of engine, right? Your cylinder guard, sticking out on each side. They kind of make the weight of the bike low and centered, which makes it easier to balance, and balance is kind of important too. And I personally think it's an easier bike to ride off-road. Matter of fact, I told a guy today when I was riding the new bike, the new GS, I was up Big Sur, and the guy at the gas station was like, oh my God, that's the bike I always wanted, but I'm thinking of getting an 800. And I'm like, look at me, dude. I'm looking up at him. I think I came up to like his nipples. I'm like, dude. I'm like, this is the bike to have. Trust me, this is easier to ride in the dirt. It's just balanced better. It's you got to trust me.
Well, I see pictures of you riding it like a motocross bike.
It's not?
Awesome.
So, all right. How did you do at the event?
So I made it through the cut, and then on the main event, what happens is they rip us off our bikes, and they put us on a bike we've never been on.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
so, and we had, a couple minutes to ride it around in the field, which wasn't enough. And this thing, I think I was about 18 inches from touching the ground on either side. It's a foreign bike, then it was just, it's not your bike. It's not set up for you. And then you're like, okay, and go. And right away, you start off and you have to ride on a 4x4 post for as long as you can. It's a big, long bunch of 4x4s together. And then through some telephone pole, what do you want to call it? Ruts, I guess, built with telephone poles. Don't touch the poles, and very narrow. A couple of those. And then a slalom course with these pipes sticking out of the ground about as tall as I am, and you're slaloming through these pipes. It's just enough room to get your bike through, right, left, and you're going. I think we went into the spectator tent, and I think they used like one of the easy up posts as one of the poles. I mean, you're like, everyone's in your face, and they're running behind you. Oh, Jocelyn, she's just made it through that slalom, and you can, and they got like Facebook Live, and there's all these iPhones everywhere. I mean, I was just like, oh, someone just, geez, I was so tense. I had the handlebars, I was gripped so tight, and I got into what they call the garage. Speaking of the garage, and it's a bunch of blue barrels with 2x4s, and just enough. They actually, when they set this thing up, they take the bike walk it through at full lock to lock, and it has to be able to just touch the barrels as it goes through. Yeah, so then we go in, and you got to ride it, and you know, when you're grabbing hold of handlebars like that, you can't steer this thing. And I tipped it over, right? And this is in the final, and so I pick it up, and here we go. It got to the point where I just needed to get out of the garage, so I power slid this thing all the way through. So you can put your foot down, counts as a dab. I did the math in my head real quick, and I was like, and somehow the suspension got set at max. So there's minimum, there's self-leveling, and there's max. And when I picked it up, I look at it, and it's like max. And I was like, well, okay, let's just get through. So I slid off the bike, I put my foot down, leaned the bike, and then just power slid through all the corners, and it just got out.
Nice.
And you get out, and then you go through a big rock garden.
These are like volleyball sized rocks.
Yes,
These are big.
yes. Oh, I missed. We went through tires first, and it's tires from here to heaven, man. They went forever, and you're just you know, through the tires. Then tight turn through the rocks, and there's a rock garden. I mean, yeah, many people crashed. Oh, actually, one of the race bikes got totaled coming out of that rock.
Damn.
So are you getting on the throttle to get through that? I mean,
yeah,
how quick are
I mean,
you going
rocks.
through that?
Come on, rocks.
I mean, you gotta get on
I
it,
love
right?
rocks. Yeah. So I just we got the tires. Got the rocks, and then you go up to the next level, and it's gravel, and it's really thick gravel. It's hard to walk in gravel. And then they thought, well, let's make it fun. And so 3/4 of the way through the gravel, they pile it up with shovels and rakes, and they do it before each contender heads back out. 'Cause, you know. And so there's this. You're coming through the gravel, and you're trying to stay on the gas, and the thing's all squirming, and the bike's all sinking, and you go as fast as you can, and then you come to this wall that's like 2.5 feet tall of gravel, and you're just like hit it.
Yeah.
And it's just, so I got this photo, I think, on Instagram, right? Just gravel just goes poof.
Awesome.
In slow motion.
Awesome.
It's like something out of Matrix, you know.
That's so hot.
Yeah, and so it's through the gravel. Then they have this. You got to do some stoppies. You got to balance the bike while it's not moving at all as you go down this steep hill. And then there's this teeter-totter.
Yeah.
And this teeter-totter is not from the playground I ever grew up in.
Yeah.
Yeah. This teeter-totter is, I don't know, it's got to be 60 feet long.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And it's about 3 feet wide and just enough room to get those handlebars through, and there's metal posts, and you ride up this teeter-totter, and you're riding to the sky because the balance point when you get the bike is not in the center. And it's not 2 bike lengths past center.
Wow.
It's not 3 bike lengths past center. It's almost 4 bike lengths past center. You look like you're going to go off the end of the teeter-totter, right?
man.
And you're going into the sky, and all of a sudden it starts to go, right? And here it comes down. You can't, don't put your foot down, and you're balancing, and the thing's coming down, and it gets faster and faster. And when it comes down on top of a tractor tire because the shocks went out of this thing a few years ago. And it hits this tractor tire, and it goes bam! And it bounces. So now you hit, and you're trying to balance, and then the teeter-totter springs up.
Oh, jeez.
And then it comes back down, and then you just got to get your handlebars straight and jump through this big basin of water.
Yeah.
And yeah. And
The hits keep coming.
you're making a frappuccino along the way. I think I had to knit a sweater at the second stage. I can't remember. But anyway, and the water has stuff inside that you can't see, you know.
Geez.
So don't get off track or whatever.
Wow.
You make it out of the water, and it was done. So anyway,
Were you feeling good at this point?
I was. I was disappointed in my performance in the garage because I could ride that. I could ride that tight stuff before, but I guess it's a different deal when you have the tension, of all the people and all the competition going on.
Because you weren't training for that, right?
I wasn't. So what I wanted to ask you is if you guys want to come out and just start screaming at me.
Let me know when.
Flash photos everywhere.
Yeah, just get naked and streak across, the telephone pole.
Well, we can do that, no problem.
Okay, perfect.
I'm your
So,
guy.
and I just got to try to stay focused. But yeah, so I managed to take the win, got lucky there, and
When you say the win,
the win.
what the win?
So I finished first female.
Yes.
I did not beat all those boys. I did beat more than half of them, I guess. So we did okay,
Nice.
with the
She's
boys.
so humble right now. It's crazy.
This is tough. So then I finished first, but I actually accumulated more points than the Central qualifying female and the East Coast qualifying female, which made it more of this opportunity. And I wondered, well, how is BMW going to take us down to 2? Because only 2 of us can go. Is it going to be a social media game? Or are we going to do a video? No, they went off points. So myself and a lady by Bettina Nadell, who's an amazing rider from the Central Coast, are both going. We don't want to leave out Gala. She won the East Coast, and also very, very talented rider. So hopefully she'll get to do it again.
So what's the next step?
So we are headed to South Africa and
when?
South Africa.
Couple weeks, if that. Oh my gosh,
Cool.
it's coming up too fast.
So you got to ship your bike there.
No, there'll be a bike waiting for me there.
Do you get to adjust the levers and all that stuff and make it your own?
I sure hope so. And put the seat on low and adjust the levers and
suspension.
Set it up the way. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm hoping
That's
for.
fair. That should be fair.
Yeah, and at least maybe it'll be a bike now we've ridden, right?
Just remember to put the suspension on max.
Yeah, max. Yeah. It seemed to work for me the first time.
All right, so you go to South Africa, and then when you win that, the next stop
So
is...
positive.
Well, no, how many people are you competing? And so you're competing against the men and the women there?
No, so the 3 men that win, they get the ticket to Mongolia.
Okay.
So there's already a team. They're already practicing to go to Mongolia in June of 2018.
Got it.
So us ladies, off we go to South Africa. 2 women from each country participating.
Right. So now you're competing to put the team together for
of
Mongolia.
3.
And
International.
The odds are getting tough.
with the Greek woman who doesn't speak English.
This is interesting, though. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah.
But you'll think this is interesting. We're not sure why, but I believe the United States is the only country that you cannot win the qualifier or the trophy more than once. So, in other words, if you've won the qualifier, if you've won the trophy, that's it. You don't get to enter again. Wow. Whereas the other countries, in other words, I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm already writing my excuse. There's going to be women down there that have not only won the qualifier, have done the trophies, and then have won the qualifier and done the trophy, and now they're back at this qualifier to go see what's going on. So they maybe are a little more familiar with
no
what's
excuses,
going on.
Jocelyn.
I'm trying. You
no
got everybody hearing
excuses.
that excuse.
Don't worry, we'll streak for you.
Yay!
You'll be great.
That's all I
South
want to
Africa,
know.
watch out.
So they won't know what to do. Americans, you want Americans?
And I wanted to give some credit because you said you just got this brand new bike that you came up here on.
Yeah. So this has been fantastic. I don't know. I guess social media is something else. It seems like things have blown up. My Instagram, which I've only had it for 2 weeks, but it's been alive for 3 weeks because somebody else started it with my photo. And when I finally took over my Instagram, I guess I had 137 likes to start with. Wow. But the Instagram, the Facebook, and the publicity has gotten pretty cool. I've been asked to go down and I've got an interview for a movie for a BDR. I've got I've got a couple job offers are kind of fun. But I was going somewhere. Bagel, help me out again. Where we go? Oh, yes, the new bike. Thank you. Did I mention how many concussions I've had? Okay. Just keep me on track.
It all gets back to Daytona, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much happens. Just go take it Daytona.
What you were talking about is that there are women who have already run this race.
Right. We talked about
you'll
that.
be competing with it.
Correct.
Them
and then the bike. And the new bike.
You got, yes.
Got it. And so I was saying it's kind of interesting. What's happening is BMW Motorcycles of Walnut Creek got a hold of me and said, "Look, we're gonna help you out with this bike because I have a GS Adventure, like I said, the big wide tank, a big touring bike. This is a GS Rally, which has a sports suspension. It's a little bit taller, and it's the bike that we competed on, and I believe it's the bike we're going to be competing on in South Africa. So they hooked me up with a partial sponsorship on this GS 1200 rally bike, which I took on its inaugural ride today, which was pretty cool. And then a local shop, Ben's Motorcycle Works out of Watsonville, they call me. He called me at work on Friday, and he said, "Look, we want to help you out. What can we do? We want to offer you a $1,000 gift certificate for whatever the heck you need to get you there.
That's cool.
Anything you need. You know, do you want gear? Do you need a helmet?" And I'm like, "No, I don't really need anything. You know, my what I really need is time. I'm so busy. This thing's happening in 2 weeks. I don't have time. I got this new bike. I have to put the engine guards on, the skid plate on it, you know, the cylinder guards on it, because those pineapples stick out there, right? I got to do all this. I don't have time. I'm working all these hours, and I'm trying. And so my sister came down from Japan to visit for a day, so I took her to dinner. I was like trying to fit all this time in. And when I came back the night before last, my garage door was open, and Ben was in there. And my bike was up on the lift, and he was putting all the stuff on the bike.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he said, "You didn't have time? Now you got time. Here you go." And by the way, we heard that you needed an ECE 22 approved helmet, because we do Snell over there in the United States.
Yeah.
So you need this helmet, and you don't have one. And I didn't want to buy the helmet. I just bought a $500 Arai. You know, I was like, oh my god, I want to buy another helmet. He goes, so we called up Touratech and to see if they had ECE, and they do. And we told them we need an extra small, and they laughed. And they said, well, who's it for? And they said, oh, it's this girl named Jocelyn. They said, Jocelyn? Oh, we know Jocelyn. She was at the, I didn't tell you this, she was at the Touratech rally, and they had set up a challenge course, and none of the women signed up. And so I went up against the boys, and I got another trophy. Yeah. But, so like, oh, we know Jocelyn. Well, we'll just ship you the helmet for free. So I got this, I got a free helmet coming.
That's great. Wow.
I'm like, I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. I
and that's got to energize you emotionally, like having people that really care about you supporting you like that, right?
Got your back, man.
It really does,
right?
you know. And then when you go and you compete, like it's almost like that ride. It's not really about you anymore. Yeah. Now it's about all these people that have put out to try to help you.
Like
these
the
people
team,
that are behind you. Yeah, the team, and you just basically, that's it. It's everyone that's spent the money or the time to try to help get you where you are. Yeah. And let's not forget United States of America, because now you need to go get the United States on the team, the women's team, so they can represent. There's no pressure there.
No pressure at all. Right?
Yeah. Oh no. Maybe we should go back and scratch the Facebook and the Instagram and all that, so people won't send me the hate mail, if I don't make it.
So my question was, what advice would you give to any young or any female motorcyclists who were starting or currently doing, riding motorcycles? What's the best advice you could give?
I have all kinds of advice. How much time do you have?
Yeah.
I do, because, I never forget.
What kept you going?
I started there.
We established she's short.
Crazy.
Well, okay, sure. Okay.
So women that are getting into motorcycling, I just want them to know that don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't.
Yes.
Ever.
Yep.
Because you can't. Don't let anyone ever tell you you're never going to ride again. And, what you're going to learn from this, if you take anything with you tonight, don't let anyone tell you you're never going to ride again. Don't let anyone tell you that you're too small for that bike. If a dealership doesn't give you attention, believe me, I've been there. Go to another dealership.
Yeah.
Be heard, be seen, and believe in yourself. We think society's told us, oh, you're a female, oh, you're little, oh, you can't handle that, and we believe we can't. But you can. And get on your bike and practice. I remember when I first started riding a motorcycle, it was scary, and I was on the road, and I was trying to keep up with my friends, and I was fucking terrified, and they're going into the corner, and I'm trying to go in the corner as fast as I can, and I got like the death grip on the handlebars, and I'm scared, and I don't understand what the fun in motorcycling is, right? And then there becomes this point where you pass that. You start looking ahead instead of looking in front of your fender. Yeah. You start loosening your grip and relaxing your shoulders and letting the motorcycle, who wants to go straight anyway, let it do its thing.
Amen, sister.
And you start smiling. Those are the things. Look ahead, loosen up, and you breathe. I can't tell you, I held my breath for like a 4-hour ride when I first started. I came home, I never wanted to ride again. I'm like, I don't understand, what's the fun in this? So you start breathing and you smile. Yeah. And when that all happens, all those things come to play, you you find what we've been trying to tell you is the joy in motorcycling. And women, you got to listen to me. Just do it. It will get there. And when you break through that, there's nothing that you will find that's more enjoyable in your life than motorcycling.
Keep riding, huh?
Keep riding.
Yeah,
Right
keep
on,
riding.
sister.
Excellent.
So, for those who want to follow the GS Trophy, I find if you just Google it, it is actually through the BMW website.
Yes.
That they have all the information, the links there. I'll put a link to that page in our show notes for anyone interested in following. Also, if they want to find a video, you can go to YouTube, GS Trophy. You can see a lot of like previous competitions with the three-man teams, like getting through the woods. It was fascinating watching. Like one guy gets hung up and the other two run over to get him going, and they're just all working together like worker ants.
Yes.
To get the bikes through. But then also, if you also look up Jocelin Snow, there's video of you going through some of these at the qualifying. It's fascinating to watch the skill level of riding these big bikes, which I want to say, that video I mentioned of you with the pole going in the 360 degree circle. The other thing that you did that was amazing, that I will say that Knock did show that it's possible. You take that GS 1200 and you have it running in gear, but you have just one hand on the clutch lever. You're not on the bike. You're off the bike.
Correct.
Holding it upright with one hand on the left grip.
Left hand on the left grip.
And you walk it slowly in a circle.
With your right hand in the air or on your head or behind your back.
We were watching it earlier, and when I was watching it, I told Liza, I said, she looks like a trick rodeo rider.
Yeah,
like an equestrian.
Yeah, like an equestrian.
Like it's the horse, and you're leading it around in a
Whip it
circle.
in the butt with that riding crop thing.
And then when you get, if you do it on the pavement, that's the first way to start because it's real smooth and it's nice and easy. And then you start transitioning to dirt and grass with clumps. And now because your bike is going into a divot and up over a rock, you have to adjust your clutch. So your clutch is getting adjusted a little more out, it's coming a little more in.
But, and you're balancing the entire bike with one hand.
You're balancing.
Knock wanted to show me that it's possible. He did it on his bike. It wasn't quite as controlled or in tight of a circle. He was kind of running behind the bike.
Going,
I was still very impressed, though. I was like, what is he doing over there?
Good
No, you did
job.
a little bit.
You did good.
Little
Way
ghost
to
ride the whip.
go.
Yeah, I was
I'd never seen a
I actually
motorcycle
had the bike
by
leaning
itself.
on my hip a
just-
little bit.
The Ghost Rider.
It was amazing.
Good job.
But I applaud you for
It was fun.
the continuation of your striving to do something. What's next? How can I be a better rider? What else can I tackle? I don't know what's
Thank you.
left beyond that. I mean, the skill level that you're riding at, especially as a smaller rider, where the bike is doing all the work, and I think you're just hanging on for dear life.
I actually said that. It was it the video if you saw that they called it the Damnation Alley, where you had to go over piles of logs and sticks that were loose while you're climbing a hill, through the gravel, over the rock art, and I just blazed all the thing like straight through it. I was like, they were like, how do you do that? I said, I just closed my eyes and held on for the ride. The bike will do it. Sometimes I say, I'm not riding this thing. This thing's riding me. I'm just hanging on. But it's an amazing machine, and a lot of times you just got to kind of hang on.
So I wanted to thank you for coming down and sharing this
thank you.
story,
Thanks,
and
Super cool.
also for exposing us to this GS Trophy event. It's like part trial, part enduro cross.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fascinating race, and I don't think it's being promoted heavily, but through people like you, it's becoming more well known, and
now it's like more fun for us to follow.
well, and also too now everyone's like, we should set up a little course here.
Oh yeah.
It's very cool.
So for all you ADV posers out there, there's this thing called the GS Trophy, and you should check it out.
So we have the Santa Cruz GS Trophy. Everybody's got their GXR 1000. And they got their Ducati Multistrada. I don't know. It's
My
like a
Elite
monster.
150.
The Elite 150. And you guys are going through like a Hollister Hills Trials course. indoors.
No, that's
That's a good idea.
That's just running through Santa
Oh,
Cruz
yeah.
traffic.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to thank you for coming down and sharing these stories. I'm hoping that after the competition next year, we can get you back in here to share more stories.
Oh, absolutely! I've had such a
Please do.
blast hanging out here. This is so awesome. It's such an honor to be here. I can't thank you enough for bringing me in. You guys are awesome.
Oh,
Thank
no
you.
problem at all.
We're honored to have you too.
Yeah,
Aw,
like we said,
thanks.
we're always so fortunate for the talent in the motorcycle community that we have here as our local resources.
It's
you
super
know?
dense. It's surprisingly dense.
And just to remind people, if they want to get a wrap for their bike, don't contact Jocelyn.
Jeez.
Do not go to Crazy Wraps with a K.
And that's not the crazy wraps in Salinas, is it?
Well,
maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks again, and thanks for being an inspiration to everybody who's listening to this.
Totally.
Maybe they're going to go out there and tackle that bigger bike or get over that fear or enter that competition.
So,
I hope so. I really hope so.
To quote Freddie Mercury, ladies, get on your bikes and ride.
That's right. That will make my day. That's really what this is all about. To just do it and show women that, hey, this can be done. Don't let anyone say you can't. Get out there, compete, ride.
And smile.
And smile. Smiling the key. Yeah. That's my secret. I just gave it up online. Smiling is the key.
Listening.
That's
Cool.
it.
Well, here we are. She's made the first qualifying. She's heading out to do the second qualifying. And I'm just gonna tell you, she made it. She made it to the second qualifying and on to the team. So congratulations, Jocelyn. Now she had to go to Mongolia to compete for the first time. And this is no joke, this competition, the GS Trophy. So not only did we have Jocelyn come back to tell us about it, but we had our friend Shawn Thomas. Yep, you got it. Rock on, Shawn. Shawn was there as well, and they came in to tell us all about the GS Trophy. This is going back to August 5th, 2018 is when they came back to tell us about this. So enjoy the show. Enjoy Jocelyn's career. Enjoy Shawn Thomas, the character, and just the whole story about the GS Trophy. Another one of my favorite guests.
Yes.
Third time returning now.
Yes.
We've got Jocelin Snow, and second time returning, Shawn Thomas.
What's up, yo?
No, really. I know, Jocelyn, you think you don't tell good stories. Or no, wait a minute. I know you can tell good stories, but you pretend that you don't. You're a good storyteller.
Oh, yeah. Indeed.
And so is Shawn. And since you guys have some really good stories to share. So it's been a couple months now. You both went off to go to the GS Trophy. And I know since Jocelyn was in here talking about it, people should know. If you don't, Shawn, can you tell everyone about the GS Trophy?
So every year BMW has a competition to see who the best rider is in each country that sells their bikes, basically. And then the following year, they send their best riders off to some corner of exotic backcountry to ride and show what they can do on a very large motorcycle. And that competition's been held all over the world and throughout Asia and South Africa and North America. And this last year, for the first time, it was held in Mongolia.
That's awesome.
Which is very, very intense. And it was also the longest GS Trophy they've ever had because of the distances that had to be covered. They just couldn't do it in the amount of time that they normally do it. So it was a really long, really intense ride.
So has it gotten more and more popular every year? Because it seems to me, at least in my sense, it seems it blew up this year. Or has it been as big every year?
I think in the U.S. It's been pretty flat.
Yeah.
We just don't have the infrastructure in place yet here to really let people know that it exists and let them know that it's possible for anybody to do it if they own a GS.
Right.
But worldwide, it's huge. I mean, we saw photos of people that were going back home to Europe, in France and in Italy, and there was big groups of people waiting to meet them at the airport. This big fanfare.
Awesome.
We come home to the U.S. It's like nobody gives a shit.
I had to call it. I'm at Uber. Can I get an Uber? But I think that as social media has become more popular, people are starting to, hear about the trophy a bit more, because they didn't really. When I Googled up trying to find photos from the previous trophy, I found a couple of videos from the previous trophy, which would have been 2 years prior. So I don't know. I just think, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the things that we do, there's just a lot more out there, and more people are starting to hear about it.
So, Shawn, you've been involved with it prior years. Jocelyn, this was your first year.
Correct.
Was it everything or more than what you expected it to be?
That's one thing that's interesting about the trophies. You really don't know what to expect. You have no idea. You don't know what the special tests are going to be like. You have an idea what Mongolia is going to be, but you don't really know the route. I didn't understand quite what the competition was going to be like, the people. I went there expecting nothing, so it was more than what I expected.
And so just to paint a picture, so how many teams were there?
So there were 18 teams from around the world representing 22 countries, I think. Some countries that sell BMWs are so small they would pick one from Thailand, for example, and then others from South Asia, and they all group together. So this is the largest representation. It was also the first time we've had 2 women's teams.
Wow.
So, and just to paint a picture, so 18 teams, 3 members and a media person on each team.
Yes.
All on bikes.
Yes.
Were there other people on bikes?
Yeah, there's about 114 bikes in total, and all brands spanking new.
Yes,
This is a picture I wanted to paint. They're all identical GS 1200s, right?
The only way to tell the difference is the
flags.
They had flags and they had our names on them.
And our names
You guys,
on them.
114 GS trophies moving around from like, were you setting up like bivouacs or something?
Yeah, in fact, we all had the same suits. And one day I rode.
I know. Can you imagine what it must be like to these shepherds out there?
Like, why didn't I bring my disco ball?
They're being invaded by some weird army.
I rode like 40 miles one day, and I said, man, the suit feels weird. And I looked down, I was wearing somebody else's jacket.
We used to joke around and put like my gloves on one of the guys' bikes, and I would take their gloves, and they'd be trying to get going. They couldn't get their fingers in it.
For new listeners, Jocelyn is 5 foot, maybe
1.5.
Yeah, the half is very important.
She had that in there.
Except, Jocelyn, your jacket wasn't exactly like everyone else's, was it?
I like to set aside and stick out from the rest. It's kind of a fun story, actually.
Were you wearing the bitch fell off t-shirt on top of it?
So, the previous trophy was the first year they had women participate. So this was the second year that they had the second trophy that they had women participate. But everybody needed to wear the BMW GS. What's it called? The GS gear.
The rally suit.
That's it. The rally suit. Thank you. Also brain cramp. Which is men's gear. So. Yeah, it was kind of funny. I tried it on. I just said, just send me the smallest thing you got, and it was Shawn side. I called him up. I'm like, dude, you got to come over here and see this. And he's like, what? Come on, I can't. I go, no, dude. He goes, just send me a selfie. I go, I can't even get to my phone. You got to see this. And he just came over, like fell over on the front step. Like, we got to do something. So I took this jacket. I mean, these are adventure riding jackets with zippers and waterproof and mesh and layers. I took it to several different tailors, and they would just no. And I said, well, it doesn't even matter how much, because these are cool jackets. They had American flag. They had my blood type on it. It had my name. It had a GS Trophy logo on it. It was just like
Pretty cool.
and it had our sponsors and Shell, and I mean, it was pretty neat. And so finally ended up, true story, flying the jacket down to Las Vegas to a costume designer.
Wow.
And walked in with it after we had a few conversations on the phone. A friend of mine hooked
I thought you were
me
going to say you went to Cycle Gear and bought a built jacket.
A friend of mine hooked me up, and we went and met this guy. And when he looked at the jacket, he started shaking his head no. And we were like, "You don't understand. This has to happen." So he did a fantastic job with it, and made it as small as he could possibly make it without it looking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it was still extremely oversized. Yeah.
Extremely.
Yeah. So at the very last minute, I don't know, we had maybe a week before we were ready to board the plane. BMW was super kind, and they said, "You know what? We're just going to send you the women's dry suit." So my jacket was gray, and my pants were different, and I stuck out with
So
everybody
you can spot
else.
her in the photos.
19, 114, 18 motorcycles. Everybody's dressed exactly the same, riding exactly the same bike, going exactly the same direction, except me. Oh, well.
Nice. So, and the other thing that's amazing, Shawn, is so everyone arrives and BMW has shipped all the bikes there.
Yep.
That's amazing. They brought them in by camel? How'd they get them?
They had these huge shipping containers just cram-packed full of bikes, and they assembled them all. And of course, they had them all really prettied up, you know. And what was even more impressive is they had this giant support convoy that would follow us.
Yeah.
And in fact, at one time, I crashed. I didn't fall, but I hit my rim so hard that I dented both of them.
Wow.
And I lost all my air at 70 miles an hour and
geez.
really fast, and I barely got the bike stopped safely. And I'm sitting there staring at my rims going, I don't know how to get out of this. and this pickup truck comes bouncing down, you know, and the German, "Is there something wrong with your bike?" And I need wheels, like something fierce. So he like points to the back, and there's like 20 spare rims with tires on them ready to go.
Yeah, it's like a NASCAR pit stop. They just like surround him, and poof, there's a big dust cloud, and it's done, and he's on his way. It was awesome. I was like, I need one of you when we get home. And he just like set up. It was great. We would just fillet these bikes and some of the special tests. I mean, there's the whole bike, the bodywork hanging off, and just handlebars hanging off. And
Can we actually get to that? Can you describe to us? I want to know what all of the different days' events were, because you had, when you were here previously, you described what you had to do to go through like the tests, like the whole paper plate thing, blindfolded, building your tent and all this stuff.
Was day one waterboarding endurance testing? That's what it sounded like, man.
So you don't have to announce like who won or anything, but just can you go down the days and what the events were for that day, and maybe how many miles you had to travel?
I'll talk about the non-competition part, because
if you don't remember, just make it up.
make it up.
The non-competition part was extremely hard, because every day we had to do, you know, anywhere from 200 to 350 miles of off-road riding, and so you'd ride from A to B, and then as you're riding, you stop, and there are these competition elements where this is where, for me as a journalist, you know, I get off the bike and watch while the teams would go through. But just going from A to B was extremely hard. I mean, we were up at 5, on the bikes by 6. We'd end the day at between 5 and 7 in the evening, and then we still had to set up tents and eat a big giant plates full of horse meat, you know, or whatever they were serving that night.
French fries or something.
But the competition elements were, I mean, I didn't have to do them, thank God.
Yeah, well, it was okay. I had to get up at 4 in the morning to pack my tent, but I didn't sleep.
To do your hair?
Yeah, to do my hair. You know, and by the time you pack your tent and get in a little bag and put the little bag over there and get your stuff together and try to eat, and you're on the bike at 7, and boy, sometimes we didn't finish by the time scoring was done. We weren't back in the tent till 11, and then, you know, I don't know, sleeping just really wasn't a thing. So Shawn was right. I mean, just riding from point A to point B in a day, just the riding. We had some bottomless sand, that would funnel. You had everybody would try to pick their own line. It'd be like 5-6 football fields wide. Everybody's doing their own line, but then it funnels into a 2-track, and so all of a sudden you're on top of 20 bikes, and you're trying to keep your speed and keep your balance, and you're in this bottomless sand, and there's bikes all in front of you, and it was just kind of crazy. You're exhausted. It's dry. It's warm. It's sandy. It's technical, and you're enjoying the ride. I mean, but there's a lot going on, and then you come up over this sand crest, and you see in the horizon this glistening, and I'm like, oh, a mirage. But no, it's motorcycles, like lots, like hundreds, because it's a special test. And I'm competitive. I mean, I road raced. I raced every type of motorcycle there is. So you'd think I'd be like, yes, we're going to go and we're going to nail this. But it wasn't that way, to tell you the truth. It was, oh, shoot. Special test. Oh, man, because you're tired.
Over this.
Oof. And so, and what is it going to be? You have no idea. And you roll up, and they won't let you look or walk over or check it out. You can't really talk to the other teams. And so you're just saying, like, well, there's something going on up there. I see tires up in the air. I hear horns beeping. There's a body rolling down the hill. So it looks like it's going to be fun. And so then you would have to switch from, hey, we had a really good time, riding from this point to this point, to competition mode, and you'd get nervous and a little anxiety, and then we'd have to try to talk with our teammates about what's our plan and how are we going to tackle this, and make it through the special test.
So the ride to each event, that wasn't a race or anything. There was no points won or lost.
If anything, you'd lose points for trying to speed. They really didn't. They told us time and time again, this is not a race.
This is not a race.
Not a race. We want you to ride safely.
Correct.
We would all follow a marshal. So 2 teams would ride together each day. You'd ride with a different team each morning, and there would be a marshal that would lead you. And so that's some of the other people that were on the bikes, and sometimes a marshal in front, a marshal in back. So you didn't pass your marshal. You just kind of rode from point A to point B.
So, but it still wasn't that easy. I heard that there were injuries just traveling.
Big
too,
time.
Right?
Yeah, big
time.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get lulled into this sense of complacency, because it's so big and it's so flat, and you can ride with your eyes closed for an hour and not hit anything, and you just and suddenly I'm looking at a camel. This is so cool. Like, wow, this camel is so beautiful. And then I look ahead, and there's like a big wall of talcum where somebody's ridden into a riverbed, and I see headlight, tail light. As, people are crashing.
Or
I'm
a hole.
Oh my God, I'm going 70 miles an hour. I got to stop right now.
Yeah.
And we have 4 major injuries in a single day where they had to helicopter them to Beijing. Wow.
Damn.
We lost our media girl, Jamie, on day 2.
Day 2.
She broke her ankle, which was super unfortunate. And was, it's a lot of times it was a high speed sand. And it wasn't, nothing was really in the special test. It was just transferring. I almost thought I died. Really, I almost died. I was going along pretty good, and then I saw the desert moving. We're in the Gobi Desert, and it was moving, and I'm like, wow. My teammate was in front of me. We were going 6th gear. This is not a race, but it felt like it because we were pinned.
Yeah, you were desert racing.
We were getting busy.
Yeah,
we were getting busy, and I'm like, oh, this desert's moving. No, those are. Gazelles. And they are flying. They were so fast. And they're going right for her. And I'm staring, and I'm like, and she's just looking straight ahead. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so bad. And I'm watching as I just near miss. I mean, these things are like so fast. And what I didn't notice is the one guy who decided not to run with the pack. And he comes through my front wheel. And I just, it was like, front brakes, watch out. Oh my gosh, where'd this guy come from? And, it's just, there was definitely a lot of risk, and because we covered a lot of miles.
Wow.
It's amazing, and I'm so happy you're back and alive and walking and riding up to the garage here.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. I am curious, the bikes that you guys were given, they were all identical?
Yeah, so these were the BMW GS 1200 rally bikes, all identical with the exception of the graphics kits, which had our name and our country's flags. And then the shrouds, the aluminum shrouds on the front, were 3D printed.
Yeah, they look cool.
With our
Super
number and our last name on them, and they gave those to us, so I have them on my new rally now.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty
Sick.
cool. But yes, they were all identical. Correct.
All right, so
You didn't get the gazelle that didn't make it.
We did.
We ate them.
We ate 'em. Actually, we did eat them on the final day.
That's probably
right.
true.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
got pictures of it.
Wow, that's awesome.
so I want to hear about the events. So day 1, day 2. How did they go? And Shawn, as a media person, you were not participating in any of the events, or were you kinda?
Anytime they were doing something that wasn't on a bike, the media person could participate. And the main reason for that is that, in order to go to Mongolia, all the competitors had to demonstrate their skill on the bike that they'd be riding.
Mm-hmm.
So here in the U.S., when we did our competition, we put people on the 1200 rally that they'd be riding and had them compete so that we would know that they could handle it. Well, journalists did not have to do that. So we were picked because whatever, somebody owed us a favor. So
popular.
So we showed up and they had no idea if we could even really ride. I mean, other than if you met a journalist that doesn't have a big enough ego to say, oh yeah, I got this. So they didn't have us compete because they were afraid that we'd push ourselves too hard. And they were right, because most of the people that got injured were journalists.
You're saying we, but you totally would have won against all of them.
Not a chance.
That's actually what I'm curious about. Were the journalists on GS 1200s as well?
Yes.
Yeah, we were on exactly the same
Wow.
bike.
Okay.
Including the marshals.
You
Yeah.
have trained, and they didn't.
So the journalists got to go in 2 days early and train with
there you
BMW reps to make sure they were ready.
All right, I'm gonna stay on this
Okay,
track.
the competition.
Yes, day 1. What was the competition? I want to get an idea of what it was like.
So all of the special tests, I tried to block them out. I've been seeing my therapist.
I have photos. I'll show you photos.
So to be honest with you, they're a bit of a blur, and I may get these days wrong. But from what I recall, one of the first special tests was somewhat of an obstacle course that went through, explain it,
Boulder field?
rock,
Trials riding.
like a trials riding, loose, deep, bottomless sand, tight negotiating the motorcycle through some rocks and some uneven terrain with lock-to-lock turns, a descent, and an uphill, and some counterbalancing techniques.
There was you had to go between boulders. It was really
Yeah,
tight
or over the
fit.
top of them.
Because I was watching all the videos,
Yeah.
and I think they were coming through you, Shawn, a lot of videos.
Probably.
And it was just like, oh my gosh.
So what they would do is they of course, motorcycle riding prowess was really important. So they would put together skills that tested your ability to ride a bike. But they would also throw in these really weird off-the-wall things that weren't about motorcycle riding. Like, for example, one of the elements was, okay, you got to ride this crazy, wacky trials course that defies gravity. And
Yes.
it's like our Team USA, oh yeah, no problem. But halfway through the course, you got to stop the bike, lay it on its side, run around it clockwise twice, pick it up, take up the side stand, walk around to the right-hand side, and then walk the bike for 100 feet.
Right-hand side, keywords. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
that's
opposite
terrible.
side of the kickstand.
And if you didn't do everything they asked exactly the way they asked it, then you lost a pile of points.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, and that's a good point. So what they would do is they would read in monotone almost. The same guy would always read the rules for each special test. And he would read it through once, and that was it. And it involved a lot. Like, okay, you have to go here, but all three team members have to go. But, the time starts when the first team member goes. And there's all these details. It's actually drop the bike, walk around a couple times, pick it up on this right side, then motor it while walking it on the right side down into a canyon, through the sand, back up and out. And there's all these little things, like there would be markers, and you have to go between the markers. So you're listening as closely as possible to make sure you didn't forget something. Because but miss this marker and get around this, or whatever it would be. It could listen as carefully as the best I've ever listened in my life. And then you have about 60 seconds, maybe a minute, to talk to your teammates. How are we going to do this? Who's going first? Who's going last? Maybe one of us wasn't feeling well if someone was injured, so we might put them first in case they needed help picking the bike up, or vice versa. What would happen?
Was there a
So-
designated team captain with your crew, or was it one of those things that's just going to happen democratically, who did what, and everything just kind of fell into place, or?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it is.
I did see some teams had more like captains. It was a leader of a lot of different teams. We didn't have that. We were all three equally. There was some special tests that some of us were more skilled in than others, and we kind of would take over. What about you, Shawn? What about your team, USA?
Yeah, I mean, we had a natural leader that came out on our team as sort of the front man, and he was, in
And
his
that man
eyes.
was you, Shawn.
No, it was not me.
Actually, and I want to say, can you name your teammates?
Sure. So on the Team USA, it was Tom Thompson, who I would call the team leader, and then Matt Kelly and David Vaughn. And they were from all over the U.S. and a massive range of age from 30 years old to about 55.
Wow.
And your teammates?
Sure. So we were the women's international team. So we had Julia McGuire from Australia and Bettina Nettle from Colorado. And then our media girl was Jamie Elvidge.
So, I think if this is the same event going through the Boulder Fields, something I thought was really cool. I think, Jocelyn, didn't you go first in that?
So there were, I think you're thinking of a few days into it.
Okay.
There was another trials one. That was when
Yes.
you went
So
between the
cool.
two rocks.
Yes, that's it.
I went second
She
in
hit
the
her head
middle.
pretty hard,
That's
so.
right. I went in the mirror. I went in the middle, and then when I finished, I went back to help the final teammate get through. Is that the one you saw me
Yeah,
running? And they're like,
just
"Oh, look at
Jocelyn running
Yeah, they're like, "Look at
behind."
her little legs go." Because once your bike makes it to the finish line, and then you kind of like run back to get it all.
But that showed the perfect example that there was teamwork in it. It wasn't
Yeah.
three individual people competing. It was teamwork, and that you could go back and help.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. It was all about team spirit, teamwork. You're only really as good as your team. But some of the other special tests they had, we had a towing exercise.
That
We had
looked
to use a
brutal.
tow strap.
Yeah,
and
it
it
was brutal.
it wasn't like what we practiced, which is tow the bike on the nice grassy field and around the cones, and it was good. And this was like tow the bike into hell with their rider on the back. And,
So, and describe how the bike is being towed.
Sure. So you have a typical tow strap, which has a loop through the leader's foot peg, and then the person you're towing their foot peg. So it's foot peg.
And
to
this
foot
is
peg.
the GS 1200, which weighs how much?
You're right, exactly.
525 wet. Yeah.
Exactly.
525, 550. So
Yeah, 525.
yeah, but the towing exercise was a good one, and there were also some not necessarily motorcycle related. We had an archery.
Let's talk about that
Mongolian.
day, but I'm not going to ask you, Jocelyn. I want to ask Shawn to describe how that day went for everyone.
This is really a great day, Shawn. Tell them how awesome it was.
So
A special day.
Tell us about the
Yeah.
events of
Tell
that
us-
day.
Sure.
Tell us all about the special
and how the
test.
teams did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the teams. Tell us, Shawn.
So, so first of all, you got to know a little bit about the internal issues in Mongolia. One of which is that they've got a major epidemic there of foot and mouth disease in animals, and so we saw hundreds of animals dead as we were riding, and there's not a lot of scavenger animals. So, like I saw maybe a couple vultures, but there's like no bugs,
No.
So these animals are just out mummifying in the heat in the desert.
Yeah.
And Mongolia, rightly, is really worried about this issue. So what they've done is they're starting to quarantine off areas that have signs of foot and mouth disease, and we're riding through these quarantine areas. So they're really worried about us because humans can transmit it. We can catch it too. It's really rare.
Can the
but we
GS
can transmit it.
1200 get foot?
So I got a story for you on that.
Tired.
So what they do is they have this like they sort of cordoned off this area and said, okay, we're not letting anybody through that's been in any area that is contaminated. So we were supposed to ride that area this one particular day, and we couldn't. They said that there's just no way because you guys are going to spread death or whatever. So we ended up sitting around like waiting for hours
Oh, but that
for
was
them
nice.
to deal with. It was
Sitting around was nice.
the sort
Oh,
of
it was so
the
great.
diplomacy of it all, and finally the race coordinators just said, "Screw it, we're just going to make a challenge for you right here. So in the trees course, they set up sort of a ribbon style trials course where the riders had to ride. It was just right there in front of us while we sat and waited.
Yeah, like a forest with a bunch of tall, skinny
And it was
trees.
really interesting strategy because normally you'd think, okay, I have to get from A to B without falling or putting a foot down or stalling or whatever, and that's how they're going to score me. That's not how they scored it. They're like, we don't care if you put a foot down. We don't care if you fall. We only care if we're going to set the time that you go through. So when the first rider goes through, if they get it through in a minute and 30 seconds, then the other two members of your team have to get through the same course in as close to a minute and 30 seconds as possible. That's how we're going to score you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's
It's really
evil.
interesting.
Yeah,
So,
Sounds like you're just making it up on the spot there.
Yeah.
yeah,
They were.
kind of are. Yeah.
They were, but they did print out the card. They were able to print it out on the card, so they
like
could
had a
read it
portable.
to
It's
us in
such a
monotone.
German thing to do.
Yeah.
They had a portable printer in Mongolia. So
Everything was thought about in advance.
wow, that's pretty good.
Oh my gosh, flashbacks.
I know. I'm freaking out.
Give me some water.
Come prepared.
Oh, that was
So-
that's just how he sounded.
So before, I want Jocelyn to tell you what they did to win, but before we do that, I want to tell you that we had to go into the sort of out of the quarantine zone, and we're on this highway, which is just this tiny little asphalt road, and they've got this tent set up, a yurt, and there's a local woman there, and her job is when a car goes by, which happens every 4 hours on the middle of nowhere, she has to stop the car, and she has to get out with this like hand sprayer that's spraying this wacky smelly chemical and spray down the car so that the car is not carrying any.
It looks
So-
like she's got that weed, like
Yeah,
the
like a weed
girl.
killer.
Like she's a pest control
And it
guy, but
smells
she's in a
like-
full white
like-
suit.
And it smells like chemical death.
Yeah,
So
something out of a movie, like a sci-fi. She's in
So-
a full white suit.
lo and behold, 115 bikes roll out. And this lady's like, what the hell? I can't spray all, I have to, but I can't spray all these bikes.
She has like a gallon.
So
in
it
her
took like
little thing.
half an hour for her to figure out what to do, and then another half an hour for her to spray like a foot wide strip perpendicular across the road. It was really glistening, and then she had us all ride over it.
Yeah, no.
Which was
We've
like,
been
okay,
quelled.
every motorcycle has been touched by my spray now, so you can go.
That was great.
You've been touched
Freaking wild.
technically.
Yeah, technically we got kind of sort of sprayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So anyway, but the trees course, I happen to know who the top players were in the trees course that we did, where they had to get through it as close to the same time as possible. And that really spectacular strategy was at play. Jocelyn, tell us about it.
Well, first of all, I was pretty excited that it didn't matter if we tipped over, put a foot down. I think I was like, oh, this is going to be my game. So we had a team meeting, and what I decided to do was carry our phones, our timers. They didn't say we couldn't.
Yeah.
So I went through first, and right before the end, I stopped for 30 seconds. And the guy was like, are you going? And I just waited for 30 seconds because that was going to allow my teammate, if she tipped over, right?
Dastardly.
And so then I finished. Boom. Then they had my time. So when I finished, I hit my horn. Beep, beep. And then they went and they timed themselves, and we made it like to the second.
Wow.
3 of us, which put us in first place for the day for that particular special stage.
Nice.
Sean, did any other teams figure out what they were doing and try it?
There was another team that figured that out, and the Team USA was really lucky that we didn't go first. We got plenty of time to watch other members, including Jocelyn.
Well, yeah, and we talked to Team USA too.
And really,
so.
they did like their camaraderie was great, especially between Jocelyn's team and Team USA. Like they helped us all the time.
Right, and then vice versa.
So you guys just lawyered them, basically, huh?
Yeah, and we tied for first place on that.
Nice.
element.
But
Yeah.
that wasn't the only event that day.
That's true. There was also, was it archery?
Mongolian archery.
You guys, how cool is that?
It's pretty cool.
They had like a rock on the end of these arrows. They were
Really?
so weird. Blunt.
Wow.
Yeah,
It was brutal.
It was pretty funny.
And how did you fare on that, Jocelyn?
Well, what we did is we were getting ready to eat, I think it was, and I looked over and saw the targets and all the bows and arrows, and I thought, oh gosh, this is going to be a special test because we only had one today. So I started asking in the food line, like, hey, has anyone had bow and arrow practice? Does anyone know, like, how the heck do you do a bow and arrow? And Team Canada was with us in line. And he gave me a tutorial in the food line on how to do it, which then I passed on to Bettina, my teammate, and Julia. So all we were told is how, all the little tips. Make sure you pull it back to your, by your ear, and don't straighten out your arm, and all the little tricks. So we went up there and just went for it. But Tina got a bullseye.
Wow.
And both Julia and I hit it in the colors. So, that put us through
really
for the
well.
top of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, you were the stage winner that day. Yeah.
Which felt really good because we've been bouncing around the bottom, for the whole first few days. And it was frustrating because and Shawn knows because we had like a little emotional moment where, of course, lack of food and a little tired and lack of sleep and muscles aching. I just I had a little breakdown, and this is something that not a lot of people know. And I'm like, Shawn, this isn't right. I just don't want the women's teams last. And so we were above the other women's team, but we were both last by day 3 or so, 2 or 3. And I was having a very difficult time with that. I'm like, it's not even about that. I don't care if we finish last, but the other women's team needs to not finish last. Yeah. I don't want to be like, and then the girls came in the back. To me, it was a big deal.
It turned into girls versus boys, didn't it?
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't that. And it wasn't even, honestly, the competition was somewhat masked there. The camaraderie was huge, and the friendship among the teams was insane. And I have friends for life in every country there is. It didn't feel like we were out in a big competition. It wasn't fierce at all, and it definitely, I don't think it was men against women at all. Sometimes there were some teams, the guy teams, that were kind of looking out for us. They would want us to, on the transfer ride, they would want to ride behind us if there was deep dirt, which was great, and we would get off our bikes and go back and help them through the sand, so you caught that. But,
sounds like a really amazing adventure.
Yeah.
It's adventure of a lifetime. I would highly recommend it for anybody that is interested in adventure riding to just go ahead and try out for the GS Trophy qualifier in their country. And ours will be coming up
next year. Another one coming.
2019, the qualifier we will have here in California.
You're going to do it, yeah?
Yeah.
You're going to do it?
Oh, you only get to do it once. You never get to do it again. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
So you would not think that a GS 1200 would make a good bed. But from watching the videos you guys are posting, I now know it is quite possible to just fall asleep on top of the motorcycle. Which tells me you guys must have been exhausted.
That was brutal. That was the hardest thing I've ever done.
I mean, how many days was this?
It was 8 days of competition. And of course, it's, the couple days before and the day after. It was... And from Shawn will probably, I'm sure they had the media people had their own hurdles for sure and things they had to overcome. But as a competitor, it was physically challenging, physically demanding, but more mentally. I mean, I had to sit in my tent and have a out loud conversation with myself to pull my shit together and get my gear on and get out of this tent and get on that bike and go. You had to pull it together. You had to work through, when we made a mistake in a special test or when we crashed or when someone that we knew got hurt, or it was a lot. There was a lot of stuff going on.
It was the least competitive competition I've ever been to.
Agreed.
Like, everybody was nervous. We all knew it getting there. We all knew that we had already won by being there. So the minute we met the rest of the teams, they were just awesome.
Yeah.
Like, no attitudes. No, I'm here to win. It was just, let's celebrate the day.
Doesn't it go back to the fact that all of you have come from around the world being the top performers in adventure riding, trials riding, and to have that camaraderie is...
It's kind of like, hey, how about you guys go and you're going to go for a motorcycle ride this weekend. You're going to set it up. But one group of people from all over the world, all different countries, are going to come and enjoy that ride with you. Their passion for motorcycles and motorcycling is equal to yours. And so you get to see all these different, people and the different perspectives and enjoy the same thing. It's I can't even explain it.
But in truth, Jocelyn, on a much smaller scale, we as the Misfits, when we go out on a ride as a group, the camaraderie between us is very, very strong. We don't race each other when we're riding as a group. I mean, we just enjoy each other's company in the day, except for Liza. I mean, Liza doesn't. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the GS itself and how, and it's really directed at you, Shawn, is how important this bike is. Not actually to BMW. I mean, it's an important bike to a lot of other manufacturers because they've got their eye on it. This is a segment. BMW really invented this thing, didn't they?
Yeah.
And we're talking about the Rally?
Yes. Well, just the GS in general.
No, I know. Which model?
Yeah, the one that we rode there was the Rally.
Was the Rally. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is the tricked out one.
Yeah,
but
it's a GS that's got a few extra goodies.
It's the goodies, but BMW really invented this thing, this whole segment. I mean, its closest competitor, in my opinion, is the Super Tenere, just because it's got the chops going back to the old Paris-Dakar. Because everything started with the Paris-Dakar rallies.
Yeah.
So, and this brings up a good point, since this is the GS Trophy. As you're going to each place, did they have a Starbucks there for you?
I brought those little VIC packets.
No, so she's got a good point. Because a lot of people, I don't think everyone is aware that there is the Rally model. So there's, 3 different versions of the GS, right? The GS, the GSA, and the Rally?
Yeah, so the Rally is a standard GS. It's a standard GS with a few factory upgrades.
What are those upgrades?
The most significant is the suspension system, which we're now seeing on other bikes in their lineup too.
Right. I sat on Jocelyn's, and I sat on it, and it acted. I used to drive a Citroen.
Right, same.
A long time ago, and it's the same thing. And suddenly the bike just starts going.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think it weighed me and told me to go on a diet. All at the same time.
It does. The new suspension is what they call auto leveling, so it weighs you, and that is impressive.
Did you guys know that?
Yes.
Would you like to know another bike that has that?
Yeah.
Ducati Multistrada Rally.
So what
Where
else?
they got that idea.
Skyhook.
What else does the Rally have that's different?
So also in suspension, there's something that it does that I think is far more impressive, and that's dynamic damping. So basically, no matter what suspension you have on bikes traditionally, they're a slave to whatever you've set them up for. So, if you're on a long, straight, bumpy road, then normally you would get off your bike, pull out tools, get on your hands and knees, and adjust the damping and damping rebound for that situation. And then you get on your bike, and then once you see the twisties, and you'd stop and get off your bike again and adjust it for that type of riding, and you don't do it wrong because the bike will explode, right? So suspension is this big dark art, and we're all kind of afraid of it. And what the new Rally does is it has settings so you can say, I want a stiff ride for performance, or I want a soft ride for comfort, but it's adjusting itself as you go. So if you hit a speed bump with the front wheel, by the time your rear wheel hits the same bump, the suspension's already adjusted for it. It can adjust 100 times a second.
That is an amazing program. Are you
Super
kidding me?
cool.
Yeah.
So like when you roll on the throttle,
While
like a lot
you're
of
riding?
so normally when you roll on the throttle to accelerate, your rear suspension responds by squishing in, right? So
and there are
rear end
sensors
the
that
drop.
are picking this up, and then it's
it
feeding
tightens
back
up
to a
that.
computer, and it's
it knows
reprogramming.
Exactly, and it knows
To the
how much throttle you're putting on. It knows what your lean angle is, and knows what your
Damn.
speed is, and all of that is happening super
That's so
fast.
But
rad.
it gets even more clever because there's a parameter on the dashboard. So you've got choices.
Yes.
And you set it up. And it's how many on the BMW 4, isn't it? And it covers a broad spectrum. But you set up the base level. Like firm or sport or whatever.
All of the above.
There's
All of the
rain.
above. And it does it all for you. It's an amazingly clever system.
Well, can you turn this all off if you need to?
Well, the electronic suspension is electronic, so it's going to do its thing for you no matter what you do. So turning it off, not so much. But
The bike would implode on itself and
No, that's
take
actually an
most of the
interesting
neighborhood
question.
with it.
I imagine that programmers or designers are.
I can tell you that I had like a pretty disastrous accident on a GS in Colombia, and I lost most of the electronics as a result.
Ooh.
And the bike sort of defolted to standard. You got to know how to ride now.
So defaulted to KLR.
Yeah. It didn't go that far.
that low, as it were.
But James brings up an interesting point that how bikes have developed. In the 1970s, all Japanese bikes by now had electric starts, but they all still carried kickstarters because there was that element of doubt. Well, we're going to give you a Kickstarter just in case. And of course, it was proven that nobody needed these things, so now Kickstarters became deleted. Here we are in 2018, and virtually every bike you can buy, even down to a humble Ninja 400, the electronics and the electronic controls on it, the traction control, the ABS, are so integrated with the bike, you can't turn them off anymore. But they've become so reliable, you wouldn't want to turn them off. and they're not intrusive. It's not an intrusive thing that it actually affects how you ride. I'm old school. The lesser bikes got on it, the better. But these things actually really do enhance the experience, much as I hate to admit it.
Yep.
There's a lot of safety that can go into that if it works.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you can do it by itself. Like what Liza's talking about.
Yeah, it does it for you.
That's pretty cool.
So I got a question for you, Jocelyn, because I know there's a lot of other events. You're somebody who's, as you said, ridden many different styles, races. You're not afraid of throwing a leg over anything. But what was the hardest competition for you? Was there anything that you struggled with?
No, I wouldn't say there was any particular special test that stands out in my mind. Nor really was there any particular section during the transfer. But I would say when I first got there, I was not a very skilled sand rider on the GS. I had only done a little bit of practice and not really anything close to the sand they have over there.
Does anybody like riding in sand? Shawn, do you like sand?
I didn't have a choice but to like it there.
But what happened was it was like a crash course, literally. And after about a day in the deep sand, I nailed it.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
Cool.
And it felt so good. And I actually was smiling and singing and having fun with it. But I would say at first that was where I was the most scared when I saw endless, as far as I could see, bottomless, just gnarly sand.
There's something, I think, when you ask what the hardest element was, it's really easy to go straight to what it was on a motorcycle. But I saw something happen in Mongolia that I thought was far more difficult, and Jocelyn deserves a lot of credit for it. The women on motorcycles is really important to the industry, especially now.
Sure.
And they're doing industry-wide, in the case of BMW, really wanted as many women as they could have on bikes. Now, all of the teams that went to Mongolia, they're not gender specific. Like anybody could, if you win, if you're the best rider, then you can go and be on Team USA, for example.
Yeah, be co-ed.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And Jocelyn was really, really close to being a member of Team USA. That being said, the women that were chosen, Jocelyn's team and the other team, there was 10 times the media surrounding them because they really wanted to sort of pump up, like, look, we've got women going, and look at Jocelyn, she's tiny and she's riding the biggest bike they make, and she's so there was all of this media surrounding all the time, this big swirl of it. And then day one comes, Jocelyn's team had a rough day, and you can imagine the amount of pressure that you're feeling as a result of having hundreds of thousands of people that they're not saying they want you to win. They don't care. They're all glad that Jocelyn and her team were there. But there's still pressure, the team pressure. I'm trying to perform. I'm trying to do well on behalf of all these people that believe in us. And I could see that. And it made me lose sleep on behalf of the women's teams. And Jocelyn was at the forefront of that. And she had to contend with that and find within herself the strength to, I'm going to get past this. I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm going to try to get our team out of this funk and get us up. And watching that was the coolest competition that I saw. I mean, it was see her go past. It was so cool.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I mean, those that really know me, if they saw me, it would have been like, no way. I don't care if she didn't eat for a week, if she didn't sleep for a week, and if she didn't get to ride for a week, she would not look like that. But I was crying. I was upset.
It's like you're a human being or something.
I know.
Yeah, it was shocking.
I was really emotional. There was so much pressure. And I'm probably, you know what, probably a lot of it I just put on myself. But Shawn's right. Like, the cameras were everywhere. There was this one special test where our marshal happened to be a woman. And, I mean, she was amazing. And she said, oh, you guys are going to love this special test. I can't tell you what it is, but I know you're going to love it because you've practiced it and you're really good at it. And it was another trials test. It was the one that you saw, Liza, through the rocks. And I was excited. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, we have that. And she's like, I'm so positive that you guys are going to clean this, that I'm going to Facebook Live this. So what happened, I don't know if you guys know what kind of service Verizon or AT&T has in Mongolia, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's nothing. So what happened is all the trucks came in with all this media equipment, satellite dishes. They took all this time to set this thing up so they could Facebook Live our team.
Oh, man.
And, my heart was just like in my throat. I could just feel it beating. I'm like, all of a sudden, what was going to be a fun little child's ride that, yeah, we got this. I couldn't even see straight. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't hang on to the handlebars. And the cameras were in your face and the cameras were behind you. And you can hear them on the top of the rock. Air raid and its team, it's America, and Jocelyn and our group, here they go, and they are gonna rock this. And I can hear them talking, and I'm like, and then boom, we had bikes upside down immediately, and crunched in between the rocks and running back to help our teammates. And it was like, and they're trying to save face on Facebook and said, and it's really all about teamwork, and this is where it really shows. And and these girls it was like, oh my gosh, can we just get this right? Can we just make these people proud? Can we just please do well? So that's why that one day that we finished first for the day, it was just for a day, it meant so much. And the other teams were like cheering and celebrating with us, and if that's all it was, and we didn't finish last, so it meant a lot.
You know what, Jocelyn? I think the motorcycling community in general, and the women's motorcycling community in particular, owe you a huge debt of thanks just for promoting the sport. I mean, it's a monumental achievement. There's no question about that.
I agree.
Oh, that's really kind. I just wanted women to see us and say, I can do that. I want to do that. That's what it meant to me. And I had to keep checking myself on that. It wasn't about the competition. It wasn't about where we finished. What it was really about is what was being perceived at home on the computers. These ladies that were watching, what were they feeling? And we're going to find out when the qualifier comes up here next year on how many women sign up. But I mean, I'm still working actively to promote it. To promote the trophy, to inspire women to not be afraid of the motorcycle if you can't touch the ground. So what?
I think you've already inspired more women than you could possibly imagine.
Thank you, Miss
And I gotta say, this fellow over here too. So I was like, I was on a KLR, and then Liza's like, yeah, Jocelin Snow can do this, and blah blah blah. I'm like, really? Oh, cool. And then, in the motorcycle community here, your feet don't touch the ground, just not your bike, bro. That's absolutely not true.
I love it.
Anyway,
I got a question for you. At one point, did you realize, holy shit, I'm actually doing this? Because there's always that thing where, I got selected or I qualified for this, but when you're actually in the competition, when did you realize there's no turning back now? Like, was that like a day into it, or was that when you were being waterboarded, or what's?
Or was that before or after eating your first horse?
Right.
So it was really funny how that came about. keep in mind there was practicing for the qualifier every single day after work, all day, every weekend, making the qualifier. Then they sent us down to South Africa, if you recall. We had to qualify again against the women, all the training for that. Then they sent us back to train again in South Africa. If you want a vacation on someone else's dime, this is the way to do it, And then, you're training and you're practicing, and then boom, you're in Mongolia. So honestly, it's like a head spin. You don't even know what's happening. You don't know what to expect. And all of a sudden, there you are, and they cut the ribbon, and everybody runs to these lines of brand new motorcycles looking for your name and looking for your flag, and none of that. Your first test, the second test, the third day, it didn't hit me until one day. I'm just riding through the desert. I had the sand down. It was beautiful. It was sunny. There was a cool breeze. The scenery was amazing. We had gone over a snow or ice patch that was, long, that we had to cross over, and then it was a creek, and then all of a sudden what was desert is now these big jagged rock and mountains, and there were beautiful spring colored flowers, and the terrain was just ever changing, and then all of a sudden there was green grassy rolling hills, and there was forest. I'm like, where am I? And it hit me then. I said it out loud in my helmet. I was like, wow, I'm in Mongolia riding a motorcycle. Forget about all of that, with all these really cool people. And if someone pinch me, please. This is just absolutely amazing.
That really is the adventure of a lifetime, isn't it?
Agreed.
Nice. What about you, Shawn?
I fought really hard to be the journalist to go. As you can imagine, I really wanted to go. And there was a lot of people that were far better than me, more qualified than me to go. And I got it just out of a combination of fluke circumstance. And when it really kicked in is I realized, like, I don't know if I can do this. I got to go to all of the qualifiers we had in the U.S. and watched all of the riders, including Jocelin, ride, and they're just so amazing. And I thought, I can't do that. And I would say that to myself, like, there's no way I'd even try that if I had seen somebody else do it. And so I went to see, I was so worried. I went to see a personal trainer to get like my body in shape and ready. So I spent 3 months.
That's smart, man.
Ever. I hate the gym. I never go. I never had a personal trainer before, and this woman just beat me to death. I mean, I've never sweared so much.
I'm going to embarrass you now, Shawn. How long's it been since we met, darling? 6 months? A year, maybe?
It's been, I'm somewhere in between.
He's lean. Since the last time
you look like a different man.
He's lean and mean. He really is.
He dedicated himself to this.
Right. I've lost some weight, honey, but nothing compared with you. I mean, you really have transformed yourself. So you obviously took this challenge very, very seriously.
And I was glad I did. I mean, there was times, there was competitions where we had members of my team on their hands and knees begging for water. I mean, it was so hard.
Yeah.
I beg
navigation exercise.
Yeah.
I'm on my hands and knees begging for a cup of tea. It's so hard to get a decent cup of tea in America. God.
So what was the moment then exactly? You just being there and just realizing that, I had to do the physical training.
I think like wanting to give up the training thing, and I hated driving to training. I hated being at training. I hated being sore after training. But I liked the feeling. And I thought, I'm doing this because I've got a goal, and I don't want to let my team down.
Nice.
And as an extension to that, by day 2, I'd watched every member of my team fall. At least once, which it was always silly little falls. But I made this mental challenge. I said, I'm going to get through the entire GS Trophy without falling. Wow. That's going to be I'm not going to advertise it. This is just my legacy to myself.
And did you?
By the skin of my teeth.
Nice.
Shawn is selling
really
himself short all over the place.
So
First of all, Shawn is an amazing rider, extremely talented, and he definitely was well deserved that he got the media position. I don't think there was a fight. There couldn't have been a fight. There was no one else better for the job than you, and you showed it, and you proved it, and you kept your team strong, and I mean, I'm proud of you. I think you guys did great.
All right.
There you have it,
guys.
So on a personal note, I would like to just say that on the West Coast, and not Mongolia at all, but you took me on a ride that changed me as a rider, Jocelyn.
That's awesome.
I saw what could happen and what you could be no matter what size you were. And I now, since January 1st, my New Year's with you, I have almost 28,000 miles on my bike, mostly in second gear on mountain roads that may have a name somewhere and I don't know them, because I saw that is what you could do. Not Mongolia, Carmel Valley Road, like these random roads in the middle of nowhere, but it is to be able to see a woman do and be a part of a bike, be a part of a machine, and take it to its limit. You do that, and I saw that, and it has made me a bigger person and a better rider.
Bex,
so thank you.
Thank you. And just that is what all of this is about.
Mm-hmm.
And you got me here. And that's what it's about. And I remember that day very, very well. And
I didn't know what chicken strips were. Okay?
the best part about that day was watching you improve dramatically, like by the minute. Her riding went from very basic to confident. She got confidence about it because I thought that this is how it's supposed to be, and I don't even know if I can do it. I mean, you can, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it now. And you got this confidence, and you got this aha moment, And when I watched that, I was like, that's all of the work for the trophy. If it only influenced just you, one person, then mission accomplished for me.
You did it on a level where it was international, and it's being broadcast, and that's so brave. And so many more of me's are getting to see that.
That's sweet. I gotta tell you what's brave. This is what's brave. I got on your bike, remember?
Oh yeah.
At the end, when I was like, "Holy crap!" Every time I looked in the mirror, you were there. I'm like, "What is going on?" And so I'd step it up or look in the mirror, and there you were. And this is after we'd been riding for a few days, and you could almost see the smile on her face.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me check this bike out. And I didn't go far, half a mile down the road, and I came back and I gave it back to you quickly. And I don't know. I think I dropped to my knees and bowed before you because
did the shifter fall off?
I don't know how she could ride that motorcycle, but I have the most respect for Bex.
I can tell you, I've ridden with you, and I had the opposite effect. I'm like, who the fuck is this small fry? I can't keep up with. How the hell is she pushing that giant bike around? Fuck this shit. That was my attitude.
And we've been friends ever since. You keep inviting me back.
I was like, I'm gonna keep up with her. Fuck this shit. Let her go.
Let's go ride. You wanna?
It's a beautiful thing.
If I may, very briefly, just change the subject. Well, I mean, it's related. Jocelyn and Shawn, you both showed up on BMWs today, didn't you?
We did.
I would say it is fair to say they represent the opposite ends of the spectrum of what BMW manufacture in 2018. So let's start with yours, Jocelyn. What did you arrive today on?
Well, if I just make a little side note, my new GS Rally is in Pennsylvania.
Okay, we don't want to talk about that.
But it's a special thing. It's something that's coming up.
I want to talk about what you arrived on.
Can I say what she rode in on? Because I took her.
Yeah.
She rode in on the brand new BMW Ninja 300.
So Miss Emma, it was the new BMW 310, also known as the Mini GS.
Very handsome little bike. You ride it like a complete hooligan.
It is a hooligan bike. I'm so excited. I put a little undertail kit on it, put some knobbies on it.
Great looking bike. I mean, it looks. The thing I like about it, it looks like a BMW. It's obviously a BMW.
It's a GS Junior.
It's a very aggressive looking bike. It's little single cylinder, right? 300cc.
Yeah.
I just argue. I don't think it's a GS.
Right. Would you say it is a good starter bike? So if we've got somebody listening to the show, maybe they got a little more income, because let's be honest here, it's not Japanese motorcycle money, is it?
No, actually, that bike, you can get that thing out the door for about $6,000.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
So
brand new.
Good place to start.
I think so. And it does have a little bit of a high seat height. Don't they all?
No, it fit me.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
be nice. I still have to slide off the seat on one side. I'm like, I got a 310. I can nope.
Yeah, Jocelyn, I think that might apply on every bike on the road, Very good. Sean? What the hell? How many cylinders on that thing you were riding?
He came in like Knight Rider.
Did you hear the boat horn when he came in?
Yes.
The fog cutter.
I love that bike.
The driveway got dark when you
It
pulled
did.
in.
It was like Batman
black hole on
coming
two
in.
wheels.
Do you have to wear epaulets when you pilot that bike?
So tell me what you're riding.
So I'm riding BMW's current attempt at an American cruiser.
Right.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, no, I'll buy into that. I mean, it's a bigger cruiser. It's more of a cruiser in a Honda F6B kind of cruiser. It's like Goldwing cruiser size, but it's big, isn't it?
It's called the K1600 Bagger.
6 cylinders?
And it's a inline 6-cylinder.
Wow.
And it is so awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's who came up? Was it Moto Guzzi? Who came up? But they have another
6-cylinder
giant boat like.
Is that the?
Are you thinking of the Flying Fortress?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like BMW's Flying Fortress.
It's 6 cylinders, as you probably know, they're great because they're super smooth like a 4-cylinder, but they have all the torque like a twin. So you just have all this power all the time, and it's just this, and it's an excuse for me to wear black leather, which really is pretty special. I mean, on a bike, I wear it all the time. But on a bike is
black is.
He's been working out.
Black is
I want to
slimming.
point out that Sean is actually wearing leather trousers of an extremely advanced design.
Das Bag.
If I was wearing underwear, they'd be leather too.
You were wearing Das leather trousers.
You're embracing the German.
Black is slimming and intimidating. I call it slim intimidating.
Slim.
Intimidating.
Yeah.
1600cc, 6-cylinder, designed primarily for America, so that means high bars, the front's raked out a little bit.
Feet forward, arms back.
Right.
So, and in the American touring style, it sort of derives on our roads here, which is that sort of wide, sweeping, relaxed.
I totally have to say, what was it, Henry? The Belgians?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, they were on their Harleys touring the U.S.
And they're complaining.
And
how heavy
they were every bit of just. I'm all, get on my Triumph, have a try. And the first one, who was the bravest one, was the shortest one. And I said, I know the technique. Thank you, Jocelyn. So how you do this is you just toddle back and forth. You commit to one side, and if you have a higher bike than your inseam, you're good. But they wanted the American experience, but they would have so much more preferred, especially Death Valley at 120 like 20 degrees. They would have much appreciated.
I am
Liza busted out some chaps.
Those are my
Liza
chaps.
just pulled some chaps out of
That is
somewhere.
fabulous.
But
OMG.
What's the point of this?
I thought I retired.
Oh yeah. Okay.
the thing that impressed me the most about that giant bike you're on, Sean, and it's something of a BMW trademark. BMWs always seem to carry their weight very, very low and very, very forward. And I was looking at where the crank is on that bike, and it's way low and way forward. So the thing probably handles really well.
You should find out.
Yeah, we should go for a ride.
I might
Sitting
just,
right out front.
I might just do that.
You have to wear my leathers.
We are not shy about jumping on people's bikes.
You
Oh,
know,
I haven't
we
tried
aren't
that. Yeah.
I've got to admit, I'm not sure that I can even afford to look at it. I would say it's definitely up there in terms of the cost.
Take a guess. Take a guess at the cost.
Oh
30.
God!
Just a guess. I heard a 30. What else? What else?
Hella
did I hear?
dollars.
Well, no, hang on. A Panigale V4 entry is 22. The S is 31. Mid-20s.
Mid-20s. That bike starts at just shy of 20.
Yeah,
19 and change.
I gotta say that is
it's pretty realistic.
Do you take food stamps?
So can you still have an American experience on a cruiser, but be on a BMW?
Well, yeah, that's
the chaps will help.
it's a really interesting question, and that's their target is
Right?
to take the Harley guys and funny enough, they want the Jeep guys. Like, that's their target, and they're winning with that bike.
I'll buy into that. It's a very, very handsome looking bike. If anybody wants to actually check it out online, what is the model? It's the K1600 GT, did you say?
K1600B as in bagger.
K1600B. It is a great looking bike, and in the flesh, oh my God.
Just look up the BMW Flying Fortress and the BMW Ninja 300.
The Batmobile.
Is the American touring experience go to a bar and then taking a shot, then you go to another bar?
And the BMW part of that is you can do that. The bars just have to be in different states.
I give these bogus They went through American experience through Death Valley at 120 on a Harley. Twin, air-cooled.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but you can do that on a Harley because you don't have to wear gear.
Yes.
Oh, no, these guys were doing the full bucket helmet, too.
Yep. So I just want to circle back to the GS Trophy. So glad you did it, yes?
Oh, definitely.
Lifetime experience.
For sure.
Lifetime friends?
Yes, we're still keeping in touch with them today.
I have a question for you. How's your press girl? You said she got injured pretty badly.
Yes,
Day 3.
I think day 2 or 3. She she broke her ankle. Her spirits were really high. When people had an injury, they basically sent them by.
Are you sure this wasn't an MTV show?
Yeah, right. So
Real life on motorcycles.
You're off the island, so we didn't get to see her, but we were able to get some cell reception to get some texting with her. I've spoken to her since, and she's recovering well, and already talking about some rides coming up.
Cool.
We did get a hold of her custom 3D printed shrouds and mailed them to her.
Oh, cool.
So she has those as a momentum.
They were
that's great.
Well, I think it's great, Shawn, that BMW has come up with a hardcore event for dentists and CEOs. We needed something like this.
Actually, now think about this. If you just have a good friend that has a BMW GS, you can go and compete at the qualifier, right? The two of you can share a bike. It doesn't matter. And then you can win your qualifier. And it's not for dentists or doctors because all of a sudden you're traveling these amazing countries riding someone else's motorcycle on somebody else's dime.
Actually, and I'll be honest, for people who are inspired by this and want to do it, and I've been inspired by it, that's why I just bought a KLR 650. Simmer down.
Oh, boy.
The poor man's BMW. I know it. But
Poor man's BMW.
Yeah. But it's no. I've actually, because I was looking on Craigslist for the last month for a dual sport, in the price range I was looking for, $3,000 to $4,000. That's why I got the KLR, because that was my budget. But I was amazed how many GSs. Now the GS 1100s and 1150s. I've found 2 in the last month that were under $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
2,500.
I can't wait.
How many miles?
Last week, on Thursday, there was a party foul. There was a GS 1200A with 125,000 miles that had been used as a commuter from Sacramento to San Francisco.
Wow.
For 3,500.
Yeah,
wow.
But you know what?
Nice.
At that kind of mileage, Liza, the maintenance
Run.
will kill you.
But my point being that when I got a KLR as a poor man's BMW, but I was surprised how many GSs are coming up under $4,000, some under $3,000. That you're going to get something that's maybe, needs some more work, but still a lot of these have been very dependable commuter bikes for somebody, and they haven't seen a hard life at all.
Yeah.
And you can get a GS and get into this game for not that much money now. Of course, the 1200s are the bike to have, but the 11s and 1150s that are heavier, but you know what, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, they were the shit.
Yeah, and they're still great bikes.
Yeah, they're still good bikes.
Right, quick, can we just do a shout out? How much is the 310?
$6,000.
Right?
Wow.
Brand new?
Yeah. But I believe to compete in the GS Trophy, you have to have a 650cc or higher.
Or higher, yeah.
But you know what? If you want adventures...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is it's a great bike. It's also, you know, a good bike for being in the city, San Francisco or Santa Cruz.
And they make two. They make the 310 GS that Jocelyn's riding, but they also make the 310R, which is even lower and a more street worthy. Yeah, it's a roadster style bike. It's really both great. It's even less expensive.
It's a great looking little bike.
So, Jocelyn, we know you can't compete next year, but you're supporting it. Shawn, can you get back in the game?
You know, I'm trying to get both Jocelyn and I back.
As a press.
Yeah, you know, Jocelyn and I, we have so much fun doing Facebook Live and the press things together. And I want us both to go back and not just be the Team USA. I want us to be the GS Trophy people.
We want to be like the host.
No, I think
the host, the team
That
host.
makes sense.
Yeah, like the
That
tallest
really
guy and the shortest girl. And we'll be the host.
You two are very good representatives for the GS Trophy.
Thank
so
you.
what can we as Misfits do to help you? I mean, is there any way we can promote you?
Yeah, you know, the listeners too. Maybe.
Yeah, you got some leather chops. I can
That already happens. Write some letters to BMW.
If you really think about it, I mean, for BMW, they spend this money because it's advertising. It's advertising for their bikes, of course. Yeah. So social media is huge, and they really do look at social media presence. So Shawn Thomas and Jocelin Snow need to make sure that we keep our social media heavy, so that when we do make a proposal to them, we have some followers, and you know, we come with a little backing.
So just for clarification, there's probably a lot of Shawn Thomases out there. So if the listeners were out there, what picture do you have right now? Or,
chops.
Every social media that I have, the title is always Shawn Thomas Rock On.
Okay.
So you look up Shawn Thomas Rock On, you'll find me on Instagram, on Facebook. I don't know, there's probably a picture of me doing something really embarrassing.
Jocelyn's name is unique.
Yes, it's Jocelin. And then Snow, like the white fluffy stuff. There's a Jocelin Snow page, and then there's a Snow Jocelyn page for dyslexic people. Just pick one.
So we haven't stated, but I want to know, what were the standings of this event? Now, do you remember how all the teams ranked by any chance, Shawn?
I could look it up.
Let's wing it. What were the top 3 teams?
Okay, so right away it was clear that the team to beat was South Africa. They were awesome.
Wow.
Really. And they kind of had a ringer because their journalist is also the guy in charge of training them, and he had been to all of the previous GS trophies, so he knew how it all worked. And so he was great, and they were great. So they came in first, and they earned it. And I got to give props to Team France, because a lot of what made you win was strategy. And one of the things that we had was a slow race. And it's very simple. All 3 riders go from A to B as slow as possible. And the longest time wins, right? And if you put a foot down, then you're out. So Team USA rocked it. Got a second place score. Team France rode in. All 3 riders rode side by side, stopped, and put their feet on each other's foot pegs.
Locked handlebars and sat there, tick-tock,
and it was
tick-tock.
a Facebook Live, and they knew that Team USA was going to do well, so they had Facebook Live filming Team USA versus France. They had me narrating it, so we're on live, and I'm like, holy shit! Look at Team France! Oh my goodness, they're rocking it! And they sat for like 5 minutes.
Just sat there like TikTok. It was great. It was
I know what Charlie's Angels in French is, but
So Team France came in 3rd place by 2 points behind Team USA.
Team USA, yeah, 2nd place. Good showing.
America.
And Jocelyn, do you know who the bottom 4 teams were?
So we finished, I believe, 15th, and then we finished the first female team, and Team India and Team Japan. We were able to beat them, and then Canada was just above us. It was a tight score, but that really is just about we had an amazing time.
Yeah, well done. What a great
met some
showing
great
for everyone.
people. Yeah.
By the time we were standing on the podium, nobody cared.
No one cared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a party of celebrating your new friends.
I can't believe. I don't know how the Russians got so much vodka in, but they had
it was insane.
It was so much.
There are always ways.
Oh, dude, it was super cool. Like everybody had a little pack on the back of their bike, and they carried like a little med kit and little stuff, and then a bunch of your own personal stuff.
Yeah.
And one team, Team China, had this super ornate tea making kit, and every time we'd stop, they'd get out this heat element in this beautiful clay pot and this like heat shield,
loose leaf tea
and all these cups, and they would sit in this little half circle. They barely spoke a word of any other language, and they would invite us over, and we'd sit and have tea. And it was super cool, and it was kind of it was funny because the Chinese, the way they slurp tea, they oxygenize it as they drink, so it's like.
Yep.
And soup.
It was freaking cool.
It was really fun. It was experience.
Sounds like an amazing experience, and I see why the media person is so important, because I really enjoyed following on Facebook and on YouTube all the videos.
We all did.
Cool.
And I just have one last question for you. What does horse taste like?
It's very lean, and my daughter was so upset. And I actually started calling the GS Trophy the Horse Meat 5000. And she actually stopped me after I done. She goes, "Dad, seriously, like I'm over it. Don't talk about eating horse anymore."
Wisdom at a young age.
Yeah, they taste majestic.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
gross.
I'm glad you guys came in to share these stories. They're amazing, and I know you're going to have more.
Well, there you go. The great Jocelin Snow and Shawn Thomas and the GS Trophy. Yeah, so it is still going on. You can find out more about it through BMW. Every other year, they switch between the qualifying and then the competition. And this is something to strive for. Also, interesting note, she did go ahead and create that school that we all, a bunch of us went to, Jim and Charlie and I. And she's just now closed that school down to move with her husband to Georgia. So let's see what lies ahead for them. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I really hope you enjoyed these episodes. Go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com, and you'll find the links to everything, our store, where we're going to be, what we look like, past episodes, the latest episodes. You can find everything there. And you can also email us at motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com. Enjoy, everyone. Thanks. Time to get out of here. This is Liza. Cool.